Our guest today is Lobes the Absurdist, getting us pulled up on the YouTube to get over there. And we're going to have a good night. I think me and Lobes is going to have a lot of fun tonight. So let's see, we're going to go... KJ, nice to see you. Nice to see you, my friend. Tap them likes, guys. Let's get to 5K as quick as possible. Get this live pushed out. Let's make sure that we're doing all them good things there. All right. We're going to manage broadcast. Select episode 4. All right. We should be up and going over on the YouTube now. Welcome in, guys. We got Lobes the Absurdist here with us tonight. As our co-host, and this is gonna be a good night. It's gonna be a good night.
What's up, Michael?
How are you?
Wonderful. Wife got home just in time to take the reins off the babysitting duties, so I'm good to go.
Nice.
I got your background. I'm about to set it up.
Right on. Give me just a second here. I'm gonna be messing with some stuff.
Sure, mess with it.
I cannot wait until my new setup comes, because this has done nothing but fail me lately.
There it is. Fine wood. All right. Yeah, guys, thanks for coming in. Make sure you're tapping the screen. Get us to the 4 and 5 figure range as soon as possible. Heart me's in the beginning help boost the stream's FYP. Share this to people who you think might want to debate. Oh, okay, there you go.
There we go for now, hopefully. I think I got it for now. All right. Guys, keep tapping that screen. Let's try to get to 5K as quick as possible here. Lobes, thanks for joining us this evening. I am going to have to dip out for a short time, but I will be right back. I just have to run and do something for my wife. But that will be around 6 or so, and I think Benny is going to come up and hang out with you while I have to run and do that really quick. But part of the whole parenting thing, you know how that goes, Lobes.
Yeah. I might have to step out to say goodnight as well for like a couple of minutes.
Is internet incels still alive? Yeah, there's definitely a lot of incels. Thank you for the question, though. If you disagree with the background, we are taking guests right now. And just so you know, for upcoming, let's get some announcement out of the way. We got Lobes, and then Monday we have Benny and Volsi will be live on this channel. Volsi will be hosting alongside Benny, so that will be awesome. We will, and then after that, we got Christina Carroll's going to be my co-host, then Joel reads Bible, then Justin ending out the month, and then starting up next month, we already have almost a full schedule. We're 2 people away from having a completely full schedule, but we have 2 different lives where I will not even be there next month, which is something I'd like to do more and more. Is we have Crystal and hopefully Sam. It sounds like Sam's going to do it, and then also we have Hammy and Tiny Smoz doing a live. So keep tuning in. We will be live whether I can do it or not. We will have somebody here on Mondays and Thursdays having these discussions. Anyway, if you disagree, jump up in here. Let me pull up my video ninja real quick.
I just want to test. I put an earbud in. How does this sound? Is it worse? Any better?
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Okay, good.
Let me see. I gotta check on the YouTube. Decon's up and going, flowing good. And then, let me see. And we are up and going. And Rimbles, thank you for putting that there in the chat. I'm going to pin that to the top, guys. If you want to call in and talk to us, all you have to do is go up there to the link that we pinned at the top of the comment in YouTube, and you can join the conversation with us as well. Please hit that thumbs up. Tap on that heart over there by the chat every now and again. That helps push us out into the algorithm. And make sure that you're commenting in the chat. Everything you do to interact with the live will help us get out into the algorithm. 65 million years is still too soon. I don't know what that means. Partysaurus, I don't know what you're trying to say there. Jesus loves everyone, says Darko. Darko, come up, and I would love to have me and Lobes would love to have a conversation with you about Jesus and his love. All right, let's see here. Well, hopefully we can get some people in here soon. It hasn't really pushed out very much yet. Jesus' love is everything. Well, Darko, you can come up and explain it to us. We would love to hear your evidence of this, like why we should believe this. This is your chance. 1 Peter 3:15. If you are asked about your God, you should be ready to give a defense for him. That's what your Bible says. Backpack, what is your age, and are you a theist? Backpack?
Then backpack.
You with us? I'm guessing Backpack did not mean to come up here. Backpack, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Oh, he's gone.
Request back up. We were having some difficulties. I think I heard you right there at the end, but sorry, I was already dropping you down. Request back up, and we'll bring you right back up, and you can be the first guest here. I don't see him in the chat, so I can't invite him back up. He's gonna have to request, or somebody, if they can find him in the chat, we can do it that way. What's in the backpack? What's in the backpack? Yep. Good question. I don't know what was in his backpack.
It's loaded up with things and knickknacks too.
There we go. Turn this on. Get that. Alright. We are all set up on Video Ninja. We are set up everywhere, guys. In 10 minutes this time. It didn't take me a full 20 minutes to get set up. So we're getting better with this setup. And hopefully we continue to get better and more efficient. I sent an invite to him. Right on. Hopefully he accepts it.
Thanks, Benny.
Caroline. Thanks for being here. All right, let's see.
We
God
love Caroline.
exists.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, Qualia, what is your age, and are you a theist?
Yeah, I'm 25, and yes, I'm a theist.
Right on. What do you got for us tonight?
So you're affirming the claim that God does not exist. Do you have an argument for that?
Oh, yeah, I have plenty of arguments for that.
Are they deductive?
Yeah.
Okay. What inference rule is one of the deductive arguments following?
Yeah, I don't care about that.
You
So
don't
I'm gonna
care.
just
So you don't
give
even know
you.
what an
I'm
argument
just
is,
gonna
you
get.
fat fucking
No,
retard.
I'm
Look
just
at
no.
you.
Look, I knew you were gonna
Fat
crash
brain-dead
out.
retard. You don't even know what an
No.
argument is. Look at you. So
No,
just to
I
be
do.
clear, this fat brain dead
So you don't have any. You don't have. You
He
don't
does
even
have
want to. No, you came up here to crash out because you
Don't know
don't
what-
have an argument,
retard.
and you want. Listen, you didn't have an argument, or you would have just heard my argument out. You know
Retard.
how that. You know how that works? Yeah.
You don't know what an argument is. It's an
It doesn't
inference.
No, I
really
do.
You're brain
take
dead
long
retard.
for Christians
So just
to
to
start
be
using
clear, what an
slurs.
argument is in logic is an inference rule. When I asked
No,
you
I
to name the
know.
inference rule, you said, I don't know what an inference rule is. You're
No,
actually
that is
brain
not
dead.
what I said.
So
I said
just
I
to be
don't
clear-
care about your.
Just to be clear,
I said
you
I
even know what you're
don't
talking
care.
about. You're brain dead.
Qualia.
I just
What
blew
I-
your back
what
out.
I
You're
act-
face down.
Look at him.
You're
He
face
just
down, ass
came
up
up
right
here
now
to
in the
cry.
conversation. Like,
I've
you're
never
actually,
seen
you're actually getting
Christians cry
rhetorically
more than
outpaced
these
right
little
now.
Philbro Christians.
Yeah, so
They
that's
come
just
up here
more
and they
meta
literally
schizobabbling.
just
So
cry.
This guy's just schizobabbling because I blew his back
was-
out rhetorically.
it
I
was,
gave you
uh,
back
it
shots.
was
You look so bad. You're
speed
conceptually
crash.
cucked. Can you go ahead
This
and mute
was
Lobes?
amazing.
Lobes asked a minor for nudes in a different
This is-
server on Discord. Just go ahead and mute him. Let's put a muzzle on the pedo Lobes. Anyway, Jay, so do you know what an inference rule is? Yes or no? Look at him. He's stun locked right now. Look at this guy with titties. He's stun locked right now. Fucking fat.
I was surprised you didn't drop him sooner. He was dropping the R slur a lot.
Well, I was hoping that TikTok was going to ban him, but somebody kicked him before that. I was just waiting for TikTok to do its thing, but apparently you can, if you're a Christian, you can do whatever you want. It's no problem.
Yeah.
Typical Christian behavior.
I was hoping that we wouldn't get one of the really common Christians right off the bat. I was hoping to get one of the nice ones first. They're hard to find.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He had a lot to say with nothing to say. Isn't actually. Yeah, I bet you if I went through his following list, he probably follows a lot of little kids. That's usually how those kind of people are. And then they deflect and say other people are doing that same thing. I leave my following list open. Everybody can see who I follow. I don't care. You aren't gonna find anything.
I feel like I do too. Yeah.
I think it's funny that Christians don't, because every time if you go in there, they are going to have some accounts where you're just like, why the fuck are you following that kid?
Yeah, that seems to be the theme. I don't really exactly know why that might be, but there's a trend going on. I don't want to say it's a cause and effect relationship, but it's seeming more and more like it.
Well, TikTok did not do its job, but somebody did, and thank you, Mod, for taking them down. I was just hoping that TikTok was going to give him a suspension there, but it is what it is. Yeah. He can go crash out on somebody else's live for a little while. I think I've seen that same guy on Joel or Mezzo's live, and they were both there, and it was funny. He sounded a lot like a guy that I saw that did basically the same thing.
Yeah. I could tell that it was going to be just by the way that he said hello. You could tell the tone of his voice that he was going to be a Philbro and that he was probably going to crash out really fast and start using slurs, and that's exactly what happened. It's kind of amazing. They're like really predictable in that way.
Well, what's funny is a lot of these Phil bros don't even actually have an argument, so they come up here and they hit you with all this jargon, and they want you to play their little game instead of actually ever engaging in a real argument.
Yeah. They want to make it look like you don't have anything to say. I don't take the affirmative that God does not exist in the same way that I think that you're the same way, like agnostic about it. This is just a better prompt. But like, if I'm not convinced of something, I don't really have a grounding or philosophical bullshit, whatever, for every single little thing that I believe. And when we turn it around on them, it's a lot of dead air, dead static. They just want to try to dismantle our thing. We don't really necessarily have a thing. They're the ones with the positive claim, and they fail to back it up every time.
Are y'all atheists?
Yep. Joanne, what's your age for TikTok purposes?
I'm 43 years old.
Do I not exist?
Exactly. Apparently, y'all don't exist if God doesn't exist.
How's that? How does that follow?
How does that follow? So how you get on this earth then?
How did I get? I got my parents fucked. How did you get on the earth?
See, that's the whole point. You keep thinking about your mama laying on her back. How were you conceived?
I don't know. I don't know. She may have been on top. She could have been on top.
That's a bad question to even say that your mom was laying on her back. I wouldn't have never said nothing like that. So that's
I didn't say that. I said she was probably on top.
Listen to you.
Yeah, man, I was going to say maybe on top.
But you put your mother into it, though.
That's
my
how.
mom and my dad fucked. And then I was born.
Was she on the back, on the top, or at the bottom?
I have no idea.
So how
could have been either.
So how were you conceived?
They have 12 kids, so I'm sure they did it all the different ways.
Join, are you questioning how we reproduce biologically?
No,
Do you
how were
actually
you
not
conceived?
know? He just explained it, and this is something you should have been taught when you were really young.
How can you explain something to me?
My dad ejaculated into my mom's vagina. Listen, and what happens is a sperm. There's this little thing called a sperm, and there's an egg, and the sperm makes its way to the egg, and it attaches to it, and then I come from.
You ever played the Mega Millions before?
Did I? I played Mega Millions.
All right, then. So what's the count out of the Mega Millions? The possibility of you winning the Mega Millions? What is it? One out of what?
A billion or something like that.
Oh yeah. So you never get so. So think about those sperm cells. You out of 1 billion sperm cells. How was it possible for you to be picked?
Sure. Okay, Joanne, I see what you're saying, but can you entertain me for a second? What is the likelihood that if you throw 1 billion sperm at an egg, that one of them will get if you have if you have 1 billion people playing the lottery, what are the odds that one person will win? Not any specific
what I'm trying to get through you.
I mean any of them.
That's what I'm trying to get
Very high likelihood. That's a lot of ammo. If I have a pew with a lot of ammo and I just start spraying at somebody,
no, because guess what?
I'll probably hit them, right?
You can't have 1 billion ammo shells. No.
Yeah, because we're talking about the number billion. That's a big number.
So you got 1 billion ammo shells to put in your gun, right? Huh?
Yeah, in the hypothetical.
So your gun fit 1 billion shells, then, right?
Yeah, this hypothetical.
No, it does not.
Yeah.
No, it does not. No, it does not. So you can't even buy a gun to put 1 billion shells in.
This is completely besides the point. I'm showing you how statistics work. Because you brought up statistics.
That's not statistics. That's the God on the truth. That's the God on the truth. It don't get no better than that.
It gets no.
I mean, and it's sad that you threw your mom out there that said that your mama laid on her back to conceive you. I would never say anything about my mom.
Did your mom get fucked so you could be born?
I'm sorry, but guess what? My mom and dad was married.
And then what happens? You know what happens when two people fall in love? They fuck.
Was your mom?
Did your parents? No, my mom was only 16 when I was born.
Well, let me say this: when I came into the world, before I
Getting
even thought
biblical
about it,
here.
I don't know what my mom and daddy was doing. So I don't know. So I would never put my mom and daddy out there like that. For one, anyway.
Well, they
So you're not
definitely
convinced.
fucked. They definitely fucked.
You're not convinced that happened.
Hey, listen.
Are you agnostic to the parental fucking?
Hey, listen. I hope your mom and dad ain't on here listening to what you just said about them.
They
fucked.
they know they fucked. They have 12 kids.
They know that we
they
know.
fucked.
But for them to
They
hear
know
you-
that everyone knows.
for them to hear y'all say that y'all mom and dad, well, your mom will lay on her back, getting screwed. Okay, you think your mom?
Join. Is this going to somehow get to the place where we're convinced of God?
Because
what is our mom getting fucked up?
I'm sorry, but I'm sorry that I can't convince two idiots that God really exists into this world and that y'all fell out of bumfuck Egypt and fell on this damn earth.
All right, so your contention is it wasn't my mom and dad fucking that made me, it was God. He knitted me. Is that what it is?
And look what your board said, Christians, God does not exist. But you keep saying that God doesn't exist. If God never existed, how did you get on this earth?
Because
We
my
just told you like 5
parents
times.
fucked.
Hey, call your mom and tell your mom that then and see what she has to say about it.
She
Me and
would
my
like,
parents have had
yeah.
the same conversation because they're both Christian and they've
Hang
tried
on, I'm
the
on it.
same
Call her and
conversation.
tell her that then. Call her and tell her.
Hey, mom. Hey. Is it true that
You
were
gotta
fucked?
take the fuck with me.
Yeah, well, I know it. There's like 5 of us. 5 times? I didn't know she was a slut like that. Wow, you're right. That was really hard for me to take.
Hey, come on, guys. Let's just come to reality and pretty much just say, hey,
Please.
you know, I mean, I can't make y'all believe.
So
that
did
there-
God
you know?
did God knit me in my mother's womb?
I'm not gonna say that. I don't answer these questions.
Oh, okay. Then I'll just drop you because if you
Yeah,
don't
maybe
have a
someone
back
else
and
will.
forth, we can't have a conversation. That was fun. He was fun, at least.
Hello.
How are you, Cole? What is your age, and are you atheist? Not atheist. Are you a theist?
I'm 20 and I'm a theist.
All right, what do you got for us?
I was wondering, why do you say God does not exist?
Oh, because he breaks logical laws of logic, and not only that, I believe in things that can be measured. If something cannot be measured, I'm not going to assume that it's true. And God cannot be measured.
Okay, but in what way would you say he's illogical? That's illogical for a God to exist.
Oh, I would say he's illogical based on the understanding of God. So do you believe that God is omnipotent? Omnipotent? Do you believe in the omni properties of God?
I'm not sure. I'll say that. I don't. I used to, but I'm not as sold on that anymore.
Okay, then what is your definition of God?
I mean, I would say the creator of everything. And I guess would be the first thing I would say.
Alright, so
Okay.
he's the... Okay, go ahead, Lobes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just was wondering. So you have a different definition than what's popular. You don't necessarily adhere to the triomny nature, which is fine. If your definition is the creator of everything, would God not be a part of everything, or why do you think it's necessary that there is a creator of everything?
Think because like I don't think that that it's random. I don't think anything is random. There seems to be some sort of design when it comes to the universe. That would be what I'd say.
Like a fine
What about it seems designed to you?
There you go.
Sorry, Joyful. Yeah, what about it seems designed to you? Would you say that it's like Joyful was trying to... I think we're trying to say the same thing. we hear a lot that it's a fine-tuned universe. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and I would just say that, yeah, just the idea that, like, humans, one second, let me think what I'm trying to say. The situation that needed to come about for evolution to happen would have, it seems like fine tuning to me.
Okay, so do you think? So I would expect something that is finely tuned by a creator that is. All right, so he created everything, and you don't believe he's necessarily all good, right? You don't necessarily believe he's all powerful, correct?
I would probably say he is all loving. Probably.
He's all loving.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that one too.
Okay, so then I guess my contention for that would be, all right, so God created everything. He's all loving, but yet he made a world that is going to shake randomly and unalive hundreds of thousand people. Can you explain to me how that isn't a logical contradiction of being loving and also creating something you know is going to destroy people?
I mean, I would say that, even if I believed in all the omnis, I would say I would just go to the fact that, well, a world without suffering and pain is like, it's hard to gain virtues, which might be what is most important about our existence.
What virtues does an infant gain from having cancer?
Well, that. I would also argue that cancer, we could be a little more to blame for that than, like.
No, we can't. I mean, sometimes, but like it happens naturally. We get it from the sun. I mean, and God would have put the sun there, and he would have been like, should it give cancer? Yes or no? Yes, it should, and that's a decision he made, right?
And I would also say that humans, that's human biology. I don't know if we could be human without having the ability to have these things happen.
Do animals?
So, like,
learn
if you
virtue?
can't.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, if we could not get cancer, we wouldn't be humans. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we wouldn't be who we are. We wouldn't be.
Yeah, we would be better, right?
Human.
Yeah, we'd be better. We wouldn't be as flawed and prone to catastrophic failure.
Sure, but then, like, what? How would we wouldn't then be able to have cells the way that we do?
We could still have the cells. We just don't have the cancer malfunction. If everything was the same, but nobody could develop cancer, I think that'd be better.
That sounds almost illogical, though, to be able to be what we are, but the cells not be able to do what they do.
No, because. So, do you think that cell mutation makes up our DNA?
Even if it doesn't make up our DNA, it is part of our DNA.
Yeah, there's no cancer in our DNA.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So we don't need cancer to be who we are.
No, but like the way our cells work is that they can develop cancer.
Can you tell me?
Maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, all right, Cole. Let me ask you a question. If you found out that you somehow were not capable, the cells in your body, they were not able to develop cancer, would that give you some kind of identity crisis? Like, oh my God, I'm not human. Why did you curse me with I'm not able to get cancer? Like, would you feel bad about that? I would be ecstatic, and I wouldn't care if that. I think I would still be human. You could say humans have two legs, but if a human loses a leg, they're still a human, right? So I think that if you can't get cancer, you still would be human. You wouldn't be the same. You'd have an immunity to something that everybody wishes they could have an immunity to, and you'd be better off. So what would be the issue?
I mean, I'm saying a human with cells is going to have the possibility of getting cancer. That's just how having our makeup works.
Yeah, but this makeup was designed by God on purpose that way.
Well, I mean, I'm also an evolutionist, so I mean, I'm not sure how much God really had hands in that, so to speak. I'm more like a Christian deist, I think.
Hmm. Okay, well that's at least a better stance I think for you to take. That's more defendable than the traditional one that we get, at least. But do you think that God just set evolution in motion and took his hands off and just let it go?
Something, yeah, I would say something like that. I mean, maybe he guided it slightly, but I don't know how far I would say he guided evolution.
Okay, but you're not sure if he guided the evolution, because if he guided it, then that makes me wonder. Like if he's hands off, but then he's hands on sometimes. You'd think that if he is going to be hands on, then he would stop stuff like cancer from being possible. So it's like he would choose that that's a time where he's not going to be hands on. He wants to make sure that the cancer does get in there somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I do.
Especially if you have the quality of him being all loving, then he would have an incentive to, right?
Yes, but I mean, then I just don't see like how he would create humans in like the environment we're in to where I'm not where our cells couldn't do what they do to create cancer.
I don't really know what you mean by that.
I mean, like even like I mean, like apes have this possibility for this to happen to them. We're apes, so I mean that's just what happens. I mean,
Joyful, he sounds. Have you seen my videos where I put on that filter and I do the voice and try to sound like a believer in God? This
Yes,
sounds like what I do to satirize that. I'm not trying. If you're being real, Cole, I don't mean any offense, but like you're sounding like this character that I portray on my account sometimes, where he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he makes all these claims, and that's the joke.
and then
So
also like I don't necessarily think God's all powerful, so I mean that would be another thing.
I guess my issue with that being all powerful, how could he make everything in existence if he didn't have the power to do everything?
I mean, I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, he just has the ability to create what exists. That doesn't mean that he has the ability to create or do anything.
this is actually a point that I make. I think I agree with the guest on this one. I've always wondered, like, why do we call God all powerful? Just because, like, if I could make a universe, could I make only one, or do I have the power to make two? And we can't really verify. Especially if he's like using energy, then could he lose all his energy? This, like, the universe existing is usually a lot of people's reason for believing that somebody created it. But I don't see that as a reason to necessarily say that they're all powerful or that they didn't accidentally unalive themselves in the process. It just opens up a can of worms and like unanswerable questions to posit that God created the universe.
No, I agree with guest too. I think that it's a nonsensical claim. But Cole, it's a pleasure as always. I've had you up before. It was a pleasure. We are going to move on to our next guest. I do appreciate you.
Talk with me, man. Yeah, you have a good one.
He's always a very pleasant guest, and I always bring him up as soon as I see him because he's always very pleasant. Give me
Good.
1 second.
I liked him.
Lobe, say something really quick.
I'm having a lot of fun, Joyful.
That's what I was worried about. Give me 1 second.
I'm having less fun now.
Now say something.
Okay, I'm still having fun.
Okay. Cortez, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you hear him?
I can hear him. He's got some background noise, but I hear him.
Cortez, are you a Christian and what is your age?
I'm 18. I'm not a Christian, but I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
So, on the live stream, there's a text that says God does not exist.
Yep.
And that is, of course, a negative claim. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious to what criteria or evidence do you hold that God does not exist?
I don't believe in illogical things, and God, as explained by majority of people, break logical, or it has logical contradictions entailing it.
Mm-hmm. So that would be like more against like all-powerful, all-loving gods.
Yeah, it'd be against an omni god. It wouldn't be so much against the deist god, except for I do believe that I could still show that it is not real, and the reason I can do that is because if you cannot observe something within reality, it makes it unrealistic, and I don't believe in things that are unrealistic to exist within reality. So it's the same as I have for not believing in the Easter Bunny or anything else.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. For me, it's a matter of verification. Like, we can't prove that the Easter Bunny or a leprechaun or fairies or something exists, and we'll confidently say that they don't exist.
Not really.
Can y'all hear me?
Go ahead.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Am I coming through? Okay, yeah, so now that you guys can hear me. One reason why I'm comfortable with saying God does not exist, I'm an agnostic atheist technically, but I'm comfortable with just saying the positive assertion that God does not exist for the same reason I'm comfortable with saying Santa Claus does not exist, like Joyful was saying, or the Easter Bunny or a leprechaun. You can't really verify that they exist, and we know the origins of these myths, and we know the origins of many gods, and if not all of the gods that have been posited, whenever a god is presented, it's from human incredulity. That's always what it falls back onto. They don't know an answer to a question, and so they say that God must have done it. And we see that the gaps go away as we gain scientific knowledge, and so it's fallacious to assume one, and it's I think it's safe to say that there isn't one, because there's no evidence, and we know where this idea comes from, by and large.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's obviously inconsistent with reality, then it's safe to say that God does not exist. Or if it's not present, if there's completely absence where it's supposedly present. For example, they used to believe that God was in the clouds. We're able to explore the clouds now. We don't see a God, so it's obvious that that's evidence for itself that God does not exist in that particular place. And that would be evidence for that type of God to not exist. It's inconsistent because of the lack of evidence in that moment. So, I mean, I would agree with that. With a deist God idea, though, like, let's say it exists within time, and it's bounded within its own time. And, of course, there's no evidence for that, so it's perfectly fine to lack a belief in that. But would you also claim the same, that God does not exist?
I would claim that it does not exist. Yep.
What was your question about time?
The same thing that I said for the last thing. The same reason I can say the tooth fairy doesn't exist.
Wait, I mean, I think with tooth fairy it's a bit different, though, because the tooth fairy, it's absent when it's supposed to be present. You put a tooth under your pillow, there's actually not a tooth fairy and present when it's supposed to be present. With God, we don't know what actually caused the Big Bang. There's many ways the Big Bang could have been caused, of course. So, I mean, I think we would have to explore at where we can explore. I don't think we could really assume what caused it.
Yeah, but
right. Yeah, we can't like assume that we don't know when God is supposed to be present, so we can't we can't observe when he's like, oh, he's not here when he was supposed to be. That we can debunk certain religions, like, oh, he's supposed to be in the clouds, and we go to the clouds, and he's not up there, or he's supposed to fulfill a prayer, and he doesn't. Okay, well then that God doesn't exist, or that God is misunderstood. But if we're talking about a deistic God, we don't know the criteria for what this God might do. This God is an idea from our own incredulity. So it's even less testable.
Yeah, possible. The problem is just because things are possible does not make it something that we have to affirm as that we. It does not mean that we can't say it isn't. Like, I can make a positive claim that. Let's see here. Something that's possible but not probable. It is possible that my friend really heard the devil talk to him. Is that possible? Yeah. Is it probable? No. So I can say I don't believe that the devil talked to you. Because possible and probable are two totally different things.
So in other words, at the end of the day, the burden of proof is still going to rely on the positive claim instead of the negative claim. I think once the positive claim was shown to be true, then the burden of proof would switch up. But before that, the burden of proof should never rely on the negative claim, is what I'm understanding.
Yep. That's
okay. Well, that's all I had to know.
Right on. Well, I appreciate you, Cortez.
Yep.
Cortez was nice, and I always like
inquisitive. I like it. Seemed agreeable.
Yeah. Let's see. Dantalian, what is your age, and are you atheist?
No, I'm not atheist.
Okay.
Are you able to hear me?
Yep. So what do you got for us?
Well, it's kind of disorienting because I've got this part open and I can hear you, but I can't see the other guy. So do I need to pause this over here?
Yeah, just pause the TikTok completely.
Okay.
Or the YouTube or whatever you're watching on.
Yeah, I'm on the YouTube. So you wanted my age and affiliation, basically?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 33 currently, and I used to be Mennonite, but I'm not anymore.
Okay.
Now, I'm not really totally sure what your whole thing is about. I just come across this video, and I thought I would just add some semblance of, I don't know what you would call it. It seems like a lot of people were confused, or a lot of people that were calling in weren't exactly sure what they were trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I would add more balance to that. As far as we keep talking about God and the observable universe and all those kinds of things, I do think about the fact that we just ourselves as people, we like to think of ourselves as people, but within us lives a multitude of organisms that all rely on each other and are all living inside of each other. And we don't think of ourselves as a biomechanical thing. We think of ourselves as a singular individual, and we don't realize that every part of our body is living, and that each of these cells within the body, are their own independent things. And so when I think about what we consider what we know, right? I think sometimes it's much like the ant that can't consider the world outside of its own, right? I think about basically when you zoom in to the really base levels of life and you look at quarks, and then you go above that and you see atoms, and you go above that and continue to go above that, eventually you get to the human problem. And we say to ourselves, well, nothing can be above us because we're the best. We are the most eternal thing. We are the smartest thing. We're the only thing that can reason. Even that's been proven not to be true. We're not the only sentient life. I think we look at fish and we say, that's just a fish. But then we look at whales and look at the complex speech patterns that they have, and we know that there are other things that living on this planet that we don't understand. There's a lot of stuff we don't understand. And so I'm just saying, when some people are talking about this, I think if we were to zoom out, there would be a next level of density above us and above that. And I don't think necessarily just taking all of it and saying, oh, it can't happen is, because you talk about evidence, there are observable things that have been proven or have been studied, at least by rational people that didn't believe at all. So I don't know how you guys feel about what I just said, but I don't know if it helps or hurts what you guys are trying to do.
I think it's
Well, yeah, we go ahead, Whipple.
Yeah, I would say that your state seems pretty neutral. I would like to review some of this evidence that has been studied for God, because I have yet to be provided with any.
Well, specifically, if we're talking about evidence, okay, It depends on. I don't know at what level you determine. At what level do you determine what is considered valid evidence and is considered not valid evidence? I do think that when you see a video of a preacher touching someone's head and suddenly they can walk, it's already been proven that that is not valid evidence. This is not something that usually happens. It's usually fakery or some kind of pastor who needs to garner support or monetary gain. I think that there are a number of individuals that they prey on to convert their faith and their belief in something that they need to survive in some cases, into money. But as far as like real science and stuff that you guys would consider valid, there are many doctors of neurology and other fields that have, I know of one that has over 5,000 documented cases of near-death experiences, and he was not a believer to begin with. He thought pretty much everything was, he didn't think he would find anything, but I think that would be more of.
Can you name me this doctor?
I can try to pull it up here. I don't know his name offhand. Let me see real quick.
Yeah, I've read a lot of things on NDEs, and it's pretty widely that all the tests they've done where they've done things to see if people really can see things that they shouldn't have been able to know. Nobody has been able to pass those tests by saying something happened that was out of the ordinary during these NDEs.
Dr. Jeffrey Long.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. But everything I've ever read was to the contrary to that. But Dan Talion, I'm going to move on to somebody that wants to debate. I do appreciate you, and I hope you have a great night.
Well, okay.
Yeah, you didn't really have anything. All right. So, Lindsay, I am going to turn you over to Lobes and Benny really quick because I have to run out and do something. Be nice to Lindsay, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know if she's going to be nice or not. If she's mean, be mean, Benny.
I'm not mean. I'm being nice today.
I'm playing.
Benny, I don't think I've ever shared the screen with you before, so it's a pleasure.
Excited. I'm excited. I love everything you do, so I'm a fan. Hi, Lindsay.
Great.
Hello. I'm 21, just so everyone's aware for the live. And you guys say God does not exist. Is this a positive claim? Or, well, I guess it's not a positive claim. Is this a claim you're willing to defend?
I mean, I'm willing to make the positive claim that the Christian God does not exist. Now, as far as just a, kind of vague God not existing, then I would say that would be more of the agnostic nature that I would consider myself as an agnostic atheist.
Okay, so you're atheistic to the Christian God, agnostic to other types or conceptions of God. Okay. I mean,
that's my stance as well.
So you're just
easy.
like unconvinced of theism?
Yeah, I don't see why theism would be any like. It seems to add baggage to the equation. I can like conceive of a universe that does not have a god, and that seems simpler to me. So just like Occam's razor.
Well, okay. Do you think like if it's logically necessarily true that God exists, then that ontology bloat would be necessary?
I mean, so if God exists and there's like a probability that is non-zero, then sooner or later, yeah, like God is like 100% existing, right? So, but
No,
if God's
I didn't ask
existence
that. I
is
asked
zero,
if it was the case that God is logically necessarily true. Would it be the case that that ontology bloat is necessary? That's what I asked you.
ontology.
I don't know what you
bloat?
mean by ontology bloat. I'm not familiar
Well,
with that term.
Well, okay, yeah. So, like, you said that like it's gonna like lower the probability of a worldview, right? Then that's like the problem you had with it. Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I'm referring to. Like you're saying, oh, this is an ontology bloat. That's kind of a way. That yeah.
I see.
But I'm saying if it's logically necessarily true that theism is the case, would you agree that that ontology bloat is necessary?
Yeah, because then you would be like, so it's circular though. You're just saying like if God existed, then would you say that it would be necessary to like logically sound out that God exists?
Yeah. So I can just prove that real quick. No big deal. So basically, I just take the view that kind of everything exists, but everything exists within two categories, right? So like unicorns are the types of things that exist, right? But they exist in some sort of mind-dependent way, right? Like we have a referent that is a unicorn, but it's dependent on human minds.
So
right?
like a Jungian like archetypical type of way.
Yeah, like
They're
kind of like in a
concepts.
mind-dependent way. So I just take it that for anything X, like it's either going to be mind-dependent or mind-independent.
Okay.
Okay, so the reason that I think God exists mind-independently is because there's a contradiction if God does not exist mind-dependently, or if God does exist mind-dependently. The contradiction would be that he would be ontologically independent and also ontologically dependent, because I just define God as an omnipotent being, which means that, you know, he is aware of all facts and he's also in control of all of the possibilities. So he would have to be not dependent on anything else to exist.
Right.
So
Okay,
he
I see what
couldn't
you're
be
saying.
mind-dependent by definition. So he would be a part of the external world. So God mind-independently exists.
Okay, so my thing with that is that this God can't exist if we're doing that, because I've defined the God-eating serpent as eternally existing and having always have eaten any God that comes into existence for any amount of time. So since I've defined it that way, then it exists, and no God can exist while the God-eating serpent exists.
Right, and then there's a serpent that eats that serpent.
Well,
Yeah, we
first
can
of all-
define things into existence.
Well, I don't think that it's defining anything into existence. So you said that there's
It
like an
is.
eternal serpent eating, like, or like God eating serpent, is what you said?
Yeah, I usually use a less appropriate thing, but yeah, I changed it to serpent for this because I don't know how clean it can be. But since you defined God into existence, I can define a thing into existence that just eats gods, and then gods aren't able to exist.
Right, like so.
Okay.
We're falling into an infinite regress either way, right?
An infinite regress? What do you mean?
Like if there is either you have to assert that this God is uncreated, which that just makes no sense to me. Like that like doesn't compute, because if something is creating and you're gonna like kind of go off the whole like causal like type of.
Oh, I didn't. This is an ontological argument, not a.
But okay, sure. Then I just don't understand like where the beginning is, then I guess is what I'm trying to.
Oh, like
There's no
about,
beginning
like,
because it's circular.
Right.
no. The argument is just dependent on like the law of excluded middle. Because for anything, right, it is either mind dependent or mind independent. That's the law of excluded middle.
Okay, yeah. So then God would be mind dependent.
Yeah, God would have to be mind independent.
No, dependent.
No, God would have to be mind independent because it's a contradiction if he's dependent on anything because he's ontologically independent. That's entailed by the definition. Like any definition.
No, that's a
it's
a
entailed.
concept. So like I can tell you that I have a concept of a square circle, and I can define it as a square circle, but that doesn't make any actual sense, and I can't really picture it in my mind. Similarly, how I can't imagine God in my mind.
Right.
You can't imagine God in your mind. Okay, no one can imagine a square circle.
Can't.
Have you ever heard of the term like agnostic? Like
agnostic, like not having
agnostic. Like we haven't there's nobody's ever properly defined what God means.
Okay. I mean, people typically define it one of two ways, both of which make it the case he couldn't be mind dependent. One would be a mind that created the universe, because again, he would have to be the creator of all things, meaning he can't be dependent on.
But then that would logically entail that it was created.
Well, the creator of the universe, I can just say, yeah. That's
would also have a creator.
No. Yeah. Why?
How else?
No, like if that's just how God's defined. Like if God just create the mind that created the universe or something like that.
So like
this is still you defining God into existence.
Yeah.
No, because that's how most people define God. How do you guys typically define God?
That's fine.
Hold on. When you say God does not exist, how do you define God?
Into existence.
Hold on. How do you define God?
However, it depends on who I'm talking to. So I'm a ditto when it comes to that. Like you define it one way, and then I work with
who you're
that.
talking to.
Usually, yeah. There's a.
So then you concede to my argument that God exists mind independently.
Are you now just like presupposing like a W here?
No, you're just like conceding to the argument that God exists and mind independently.
The God of your mind existing within your mind, sure.
No, okay. I told you why it can't be mind dependent, because God, by definition, is ontologically independent, meaning he can't depend on things.
Slow it down. Let's try and act like we're like 4 years old for the
audience. Great. So God, as I define it, or how most people define it, either is a mind that created the universe. You can accept either one of these definitions, or
lower, please.
Or God is like an omnipotent, omniscient being, which means that he's aware of all the facts and is in control of all the possibilities.
So is God within time or outside of time?
Oh, that's not relevant to the argument.
If you are possibilities time dependent or not?
No.
If a possibility means that something is going to happen, am I not using time as a reference?
Yeah, sure. Sure, he's outside of space and time, and that makes sense because he views time through B theory of time. So the universe always existed within like a temporal, a line.
Then I would just plead to the eternal universe existing outside of God.
Wait,
that would be the larger power.
No, wait, hold on. How would? Okay, no, because it would have a beginning and an end. Right, but it would be like a line.
Eternal means no beginning.
No, because we define it as not that way.
Like we go through the temporal notions, but God is always experiencing all the temporal notions.
Right. I mean, and that would explain how prophecy works, in the Christian
right
aspect, right? So yeah, I understand that, but we're adding baggage now because now we have an eternal universe. We don't need a God. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, for sure, but that doesn't address the argument that I made.
I think it like.
So how about this? Like, let's say
no, I'm making an ontological argument. So an eternal universe doesn't respond to it.
Can I? So if I made up a God out of my ass, and I was like, my God, it can control fire. And then Benny's like, my God can kick your God's ass. He's the God of water, so he's gonna put out your God. Neither of those things make this God real. I could say, well, my God is defined as real. You know, I mean, he'd be like, yeah, I was like, I can defeat your God because your God
Everything
is
is
defined as
real.
not
It's
real.
just whether
He's like, I define mine as real.
something. It's just whether or
Well,
not
okay,
something.
he could say that he defines his God as mind independently real, and I could do the same thing, but I define his God as mind dependently real. And I mean, it's just going to be us disagreeing on the definition. Like, you've got your definition, and I think that it's ill defined. I think it's a bad definition. I think it's
What?
it's something that you've come up with,
How do you
and
define
you
God?
can call it that.
How do you define God?
I think
It's
we've
not
already
like a
answered
mind
that
that created the
question.
universe.
The best you can do is to
just
do a
conceded that
semantic
the
trick where
universe-
we
Yeah.
where
I'm
we
just
accept
asking
your
you what you define
definition,
God
which
as.
just like
So you conceded earlier that the universe is eternal in B theory of time, and that God is within this outer set, right?
No, he perceives as though it's B theory of time, but he doesn't exist in time.
See, now we're just like adding like all of these aspects to this thing that is not necessary, right? Because we already have this universe that's eternal. We already have this outer set. Like,
Well,
there's no more.
wait, hold on. The universe
It's
does have
now-
a beginning
it's no
and an
longer-
end, but only insofar as, God has a referent of like him. He's always creating the universe. And he's always interacting when he's interacting. So like right now, he's also like flooding the earth and stuff.
Right, I understand like B theory of time, but there's no evidence of the earth ever being flooded, so what?
No, I take like a local flood account, which there is evidence for.
this might not matter to you, but I just Googled if my opinion was true. Is the ontological argument circular? And the first thing it says is yes, the ontological argument is often accused of being circular reasoning. I mean,
Ontological arguments are meant to be trivial. Like, I'm just saying God must exist mind independently.
Right.
And like that's
so
it.
it just means that like it's a bad argument though.
Right, it's
like you can say that.
It's like literally begging the question like in itself.
No, it's
true
not.
because it's true.
It's
because we've already
definitionally the
said
case.
that like
It's an
anybody
ontological
can
argument.
define anything. Like, I could define you as someone who doesn't exist, and now you can't exist to make this argument.
Well, I
Like,
mean
we
that
could
would
just define
just not be
things.
me.
It
That would
wouldn't
just
change
be
reality.
That would just be referencing something else. That would just not be me. You're not even referencing anything.
We're in like philosophical la la land. I
You're
just
not even
don't
referencing
understand.
anything with that.
Like,
I wish I tried my clown shoes.
Well, that's all I'm saying is that.
is there another way you want to like approach this?
I mean, I can give you evidence for Mormonism being true.
Sure.
Yeah. Are you an ex-Mormon, Lobes?
No, I'm an ex-Baptist.
Oh, okay. So you're at Protestant, right? Sola Scriptura. Okay, so yeah, the evidence for Mormonism being true is the witnesses to the gold plates. There were a total of 11 witnesses to the gold plates, 3 of which claim to see the angel Moroni give the gold plates to Joseph Smith.
Okay. Is your testament to this? Is your claim proof?
I'm gonna say that it's evidence in favor of the claim because it's what we would expect if the golden plates were given to Joseph Smith via like through God, right?
Okay.
Did they read the golden plates? Were they able to read them?
Joseph Smith was able to translate them.
So they just saw some objects.
Yeah, he translated it with the gifts of God.
And how did they verify that? How did they verify that this is what was being said on the plates when Joseph Smith read them?
Right.
Well, Joseph Smith was a prophet from God, so he was made to share a message from God.
Okay, but we have to presuppose that in order to get to this conclusion. So we can't presuppose that if we're going to be going down this road.
Well,
so
I
we're going
think
to
the
assume
evidence-
we're not going to.
Hold on. I think I have evidence in favor of the claim. So if God chose Joseph Smith to do it, God would want to have a clear, written down understanding of what, like, his word was. So it would make sense for him to choose someone who would be honest with that. So it makes the most sense under that view. If God is
Well, now we just have to assume that he's being honest, and I don't presuppose that this God is real. I certainly don't think that the God's coherent, and so I wouldn't assume that somebody saying those
How is
things
it
would be an
incoherent?
honest person. I think that would. Oh well, I mean, this is the Abrahamic God, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to concede that Joseph Smith is just as legitimate as Jesus.
Yeah. I mean,
Sure.
I agree with you. I mean, not really, but
That's the only concession I would make on this. I really don't understand how Joseph Smith's honesty is proven in any way.
well,
I think so. You
only
said
created
God would
one
want
of his
God would
laws
want it
is
to be God would want it to be coherent. God would want the message to be clear.
yeah.
So
And
so
the Book of
do you
Mormon
think
is
do you think that God succeeds in everything he attempts?
Yeah, of course.
But he didn't because there's argument as to whether or not this is true. If he wanted everybody to know the truth, then he would succeed, and we would all know the truth.
Right, and like it would
Um,
objectively just be true.
I don't think God wants everyone to know the truth. I think God wants everyone to search for the truth.
Again, now we're adding on aspects. How do you know these things?
Well, I know God wants to give us free will, and that's a fact.
Where does it ever say that?
Well, it doesn't. It's like revealed by prophets of the Mormon Church.
Okay, but
So it goes back and retcons some other passages that talk about predestination in the Book of Mormon.
No, because we reinterpreted those because the book of or I guess
like you're completely like disqualifying your earlier mention of B theory of time now, because like free will can't exist with B theory of time.
well, only if God experiences that, but it's contingent on what we do. God just has that contingent knowledge that depends on what we do.
Okay, so it's all right. So let me ask you this, because I'm not super familiar with Mormonism. I know a lot of the satire because of South Park and stuff, but I don't want to just assume a straw man if that's what it is. How seriously do you take the Book of Romans from the Bible?
The book of Romans?
Yeah, is there true stuff in there?
Yeah, there's true things in there, of course.
Okay,
we
so
think
and you
the
said that you
Bible
reinterpreted
we think the Bible
some of the
was a little
stuff. Okay, so let me ask you this. Romans 8:29 through 30 reads, "For those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, in order that he might be the firstborn among many brothers. And those whom he predestined, he also called, and those whom he called, he also justified, and those whom he justified, he also glorified." So what is your interpretation of that?
Well, I don't go off of my interpretation. I go off of my bishop or the prophets of the Mormon Church. And the
Okay.
prophets of the Mormon Church have
They do their
conclusion that we have free will via the scripture, so I trust their word.
so they do their thing. They do your thinking for you, is what you're saying,
They are messengers from God.
because they say so.
Because God said so.
And you learned that from them.
From the Mormon Church. And it's like in our tradition.
Well,
This is taken on
I-
faith, though, right?
yeah.
Well, I think
I'm a
there's
messenger from
evidence in
God.
favor of it, like the gold plates.
Well, like for instance, Lobes is a prophet.
Yeah,
No,
I
Lobes
am.
is
You,
not
you
a
should
prophet.
see my video, my Look at the Trees video. It shows my whole conversion.
You're not a prophet of God.
No, it is. It says so in Lobes 2:12 12 through 13 or 11 through 12. I can't remember.
I don't take that word of God unless there's evidence in favor of it coming from God.
Good. That's good. That's good. So then
Wait,
you
hold
should
on.
do the
Actually,
same
like,
thing.
the Holy Spirit is actually talking to me and telling me that your prophet is just like completely just not real. Like
That's not an evidence
that's
in
a lie.
favor of the
That
claim.
your prophet is a liar.
Hold on.
The Holy Spirit
I
is
gave you
telling
the
me
evidence. Hold on. Can I?
But
Okay,
the
I
Holy
gave you.
Spirit is I'm telling you, the Holy Spirit is telling me this.
Can I explain why that's going to be distinct from my evidence in favor of the claim that the golden plates came from God?
Okay.
Yeah. So my evidence is that 3 people outside of Joseph Smith witnessed him receive the gold plates from the angel Moroni, which is way more expected under the notion
that was I just got off the phone. It was God. He has my number since I'm a prophet of his. He told me that he fired Moroni before this could have happened. So Moroni was going rogue.
Well, no, you'd have to give evidence for that.
Well, I just got the phone call.
Well, you're not
I'm a prophet of God.
You don't speak for the
I
church.
am. He literally just called me.
No, because you're not the prophet of God. The prophet is anointed and chosen by God, not human.
Yeah, he did. That's why he got my specific number and not any of these other guys.
Wait, is Warren Jeffs your prophet?
Mm-hmm.
And he's back. You make me so joyful. Joyful.
So Warren Jeffs is currently in prison right now. Do you think he's going to get out of prison?
He's not in prison, is he?
Yes.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I have a friend that
Jesus was imprisoned.
I have a friend that was part of the FLDS, and she actually.
No, I'm not FLDS.
You're not. So
I'm
Warren
LDS.
Jeffs, so you're LDS, but Warren Jeffs is not your prophet, or is your prophet?
Mm-mm.
I'm so confused.
No, he is my prophet.
The man that is in prison for like terrible things that he did to children.
I think it's similar to the Muhammad thing. They don't care about that.
Like, do you know why he's in prison?
No.
Like trying to conceive with literal children.
I didn't know that.
There's a documentary, I think, and was it on Netflix?
There's multiple documentaries. I mean, are you a troll?
No, I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ.
I think we're just wasting our time.
No.
Yeah, I don't have any way to kick on this account.
Regardless, it's I mean, it's been going on for a while.
That got weird.
It kind of went, I mean.
Yeah, I was over that.
It was kind of all over the place.
It was interesting though. Hey, I'm gonna drop, guys.
See you, Benny. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, it was fun, Lobes. It was very fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. I want to do it again.
Definitely.
Thank you guys for holding it down while I was gone. She seemed interesting. Zach, what is your age and are you a Christian?
Yeah, I'm 19. I'm a Christian.
Right on. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I believe God exists, so it's my claim.
All right. So
why is that?
There you go.
I believe that our lives have purpose, and I believe that something can't come from nothing, which is what you guys' claim is.
Nope.
No, we don't claim that.
Oh, you don't claim that?
The only people that claim that is Christians.
Oh, so you guys don't believe the Big Bang just popped out of nowhere?
Nope.
What do you believe? So you believe there's always been something there?
Yep. Time, space, and matter are all eternal.
So something can always exist?
Yep.
Okay, but why?
I can't fathom how there could ever be absolutely nothing. I can't really even conceive of that.
Oh, well, you guys have
It's
a different.
illogical.
You guys have a different view than a lot of atheists, then I guess.
Well,
No,
this is a different
most-
view than what a lot of Christians say atheists believe, but most of the
Yeah.
atheists I've met, I agree with on this.
So you don't believe that a lot of atheists feel as if the Big Bang happened, and most of them deny that there's always been something. So I guess you never heard of that.
No, that's not really something that people believe. That's just what
It
Christians
is.
say they believe. Can you name me one atheist that does believe that?
That Neil deGrasse did.
Nope, that's not what he believes. He
Yes,
believes in an
yes,
eternal
he does.
regress. Nope, that's not what he believes, Zach. You are misinformed on what scientists think the Big Bang was.
What does he believe then?
He believes that he doesn't know what was before the Big Bang, but there was something.
Yeah, but he never said that there's always been something.
Well, yeah, he said there was never nothing. Would that not be the same thing?
He said there hasn't always been something there. He said that.
No, there has. Okay, so
Also,
let's look let's look this up.
Lobes,
Let's
I
fact
had a
check it.
question for you. Lobes,
Hmm?
I had a
What's
question.
up? Okay, what's up?
I was kind of just wondering why the other dude that left was kind of disrespectful to the other guest. I was just kind of wondering.
Well, we were respectful for a while, and it got a little bit ridiculous, so we started just kind of having fun.
I mean, I'm not Mormon, but that guy kind of seemed a little bit rude. No.
I mean, I got kind of rude too. I was just more dry about it. I wasn't laughing like he was, but I was being, I think, just as rude. Like, because she was starting to speak nonsense, and it was hard to get anything into her, and we were starting to go in circles. So at that point, I was like, we kind of just were having a good laugh at that point.
Oh.
Zach, Neil deGrasse Tyson says that nothing is not truly nothing. For example, even a vacuum contains particles, energy, and laws of physics. So what he refers to as nothing is not nothing. He's talking about energy, which I brought up in mine, and particles, which I brought up in what I said was before the Big Bang. So me and him agree. Do you have anybody else?
I mean, you can look up what the base claims for most atheists are, and that would be one of them.
That is not a base claim. That is
Yes,
just something
it
you
is.
are
You can't
claiming.
just say something's not true and then just...
You
expect
cannot
me to
just say
agree.
something is true. You are the one making the claim that atheists say this. Show me an atheist that says this.
Oh, you want me to look...
You're already strike one. Go with another one.
So a lot of Christians will go to the first law of thermodynamics and say that, is also known as the laws of conservation of energy. The energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed from one form to another. And they say that means God must have created it because it's here. But that violates the law. If that means like God is breaking that first law by creating it. If it can't be created or destroyed, and we have it now, Occam's razor would tell us, and just logic, if we don't break logic, it would tell us that it's always existed.
Well, do you know why there would always be stuff there? Would there be a reason for that, or no?
Just an observation we've made.
Oh, so you do you have faith in that?
No, that's not faith.
Oh,
Faith is faith is believing something without evidence. We have evidence for the things we say.
Oh, what's the evidence?
We don't come up onto people's lives and make baseless claims.
I mean,
this is from Oxford. It says atheists generally do not believe the universe came from nothing.
oh, you
That's
just
weird.
You just looked that up.
Let's no, well, I'm just showing that you came up here and said nonsense, and we were
I
just
didn't say
supposed to
nonsense.
accept. Yes, you did.
No, I
we were
didn't.
just supposed to accept your claim that atheists believe that, and there aren't very many atheists that would make that claim if there are any.
There is. That's just not true.
Can you show me one?
Well, do you want me to look up a claim right now, or what?
Yeah, I would like you to provide proof for your statement since you keep saying I'm wrong. You already struck out on your first one. Try another one. Threw the marbles in his mouth.
Excuse me? Joyful, you don't have to be disrespectful to me.
I was. What do you mean? How was I being disrespectful? You came up
I'm
here and
just-
lied, and I
No,
pointed
I
out, and
didn't
then you
lie.
said
No,
I was
didn't
lying.
lie. No, I didn't lie.
Do the majority of atheists believe what you said we believe?
Yes.
All right, show me your proof for that. Either that, or you just made something up and said it.
I didn't make that up.
Then
You
show
probably
me
got it
your
from
proof.
other Christians. Christians love to say that about us, but they
Oh,
say
no,
that
I
to
know.
each other about us as a
what?
straw man. I'm letting him know because he probably heard this from other Christians, and then they talked about it for a long time and didn't talk to atheists and check. And when they finally did, just now he's finding out that we don't actually think that Christians made that shit up.
Well, I mean, I've definitely heard some people say that, so.
Christians say that
No,
a
like
lot.
atheists.
All right, so where did the Earth come from?
What'd you say?
In your worldview, where did the Earth come from?
God.
Okay, so there was nothing, and then there was something because God said there would be something?
Well, no, there was something. There's something was God.
It doesn't matter. Was there nothing in the universe, and then there was something within the universe?
Yeah, but if your argument...
Yeah, so
if-
nothing...
so you just
so
interrupted me.
something came from nothing. There we go.
Yeah,
That's your
but
claim,
kinda-
not mine.
Yeah, the whole point... Hey, first of all, you're a grown man giving me attitude. I'd appreciate if you were respectful about it. Moving on, the whole point is that we do feel differently. God is obviously a lot different than just something popping out of nowhere, which is what you believe, so...
That is not what anybody believes, Zach. You are saying something that just isn't true.
Or mostly of your people believe. Yeah.
Nope. Show me the proof of that. You can't find it, can you?
So you want me to find an atheist that thinks that, or what proof do you want me to show?
Show me one atheist that says that. Show me.
Okay.
Show me an article.
I mean, I don't know why Zach is bringing this up like 5 times in a row. We would just go. I mean, what's the point of this? It doesn't even matter. That's not what we think anyway.
Hey, Joyful, I can't look it up because I'm on my phone right now, and then I can't, and then it exits me out.
It's okay, Zach. It's not even really relevant.
It's not.
Like
It's not even relevant to anything.
Alright.
What's your proof that God exists?
My proof that God exists is that I feel like we all get our morality from something, not just it's not subjective, and that's my claim.
Okay, so so is objective morality found in the Bible?
Well, I mean, God is
Yep.
obviously a subject, and He says that He gives us our morality. So I don't know what you're trying.
Okay,
to say.
so can I find this morality in the Bible?
Yeah, you can find what God.
Okay,
tells
so
us right now.
so is murdering people bad? Objectively?
It's wrong.
Okay, what is your definition of murdering?
Taking a life for no reason, basically.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so do you think that there's ever a reason to take the lives of infants?
I mean, I obviously know you're gonna say, "Well, God did that." Well,
No, God commanded people to do it.
or whatever.
It wasn't even that God did it; it's that God commanded
I know, it's
people
another-
to do
Well,
it.
Yeah, it's,
both
So
really.
is it objectively wrong
it's
to
another
kill?
basic argument.
Is it
that most
objectively
atheists make.
wrong to kill infants? Yes or no?
Yes, it's wrong to kill infants.
Okay, so God commanded them to do something that was objectively immoral based on your own framework.
Well, obviously, I'm not God, so I wouldn't know what His intent.
You just said
was,
it's
but-
objectively immoral. So did He command something that is objectively immoral?
Yeah, He tells us killing is wrong, but I'm also not God, so I wouldn't know what His
Well,
thought process was.
here's my thing though, Zach. I don't really need God to tell me that killing's wrong. I have my own standard for judging God's standard. What is your standard for
Wait,
judging
what-
whether or not God is
you have
actually
your
good?
own standard for judging God's standard. Could you break that down?
Yeah, yes. I'm just saying that like I have my own personal opinion about what's good and evil based on a lot of different factors, mostly being my biology and my culture. So, but
Your culture?
what is your standard? Yeah, what is your standard for critiquing God's morality?
Why I didn't critique God's morality.
So you just take his word for it.
I believe that if he created us, then yeah, he set rules, and those are the rules we follow.
So like I have to listen to every word my mom says, no matter how bad, or does that make it
No,
good
your
because she
mom's
said
not
it as it
God.
pertains to me?
Your mom's
No, but
not
she
God.
created me. But she created me, though.
Yeah, but who created her and who created him? And if you go all the way back, it was God. So God created all of us.
Well, that's another claim, though. That's just another claim.
That's not
And,
another
like,
claim. That's what
But
every
but you're
single
but you're
Christian
the
believes.
one of the claim that I'm responding to right now is you said that he created us, and so he makes the decision as to what's good, right? That was what you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like my mom did create me. This is verified. Like even if you don't know who she is, you know for a fact that my mom created me. So if that's the only reason why God gets to pick and choose what's good or bad, then my mom would fit that criteria because that's the only factor that you presented. So if there's more things that other than just creating somebody, then maybe we can refine this definition a little bit.
Yeah, well, God says he's our creator, and God says that he obviously makes promises to us about what, like I said, how we need to live our lives and what rules we need to follow. And yeah, that's
My mom's done the same thing. She's done the same thing.
yeah, but your mom isn't God.
So, all right. So what about him being God makes him the arbiter of morality?
Because we need to have a creator, and I believe that's who would say what we have to do.
That's an assumption, and it's not relevant either. Like if we grant that God does exist, because we're working within your framework here, we're just gonna say that within this hypothetical there's a God. What about him being God makes him the arbiter of morality? He could be the creator of the universe, but why does that necessarily entail that he is the arbiter of morality?
Well, who else would it be?
I don't think it would be anybody because morality is subjective.
Okay, well, that's where, unfortunately, that just doesn't make sense. If you say morality is subjective, how can you tell me anything I do is wrong?
It would be subject to my own opinion, and you could just disagree with me, and then we'll fight about it, and then whoever...
Is morality completely subjective?
Yes.
Yeah, it's subjective, yes.
Okay, then how are you going to judge me for doing things that you see are wrong?
Hey, but
I don't
you see, I didn't say that morality...
Hey, Joyful,
I didn't say morality...
Zach,
I didn't say morality isn't real.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the other guy. Anyway.
Zach, you're talking to both of us right now.
I know. I was specifically talking to you because I felt like you brought more to the table.
That's all.
But Zach, what you're misunderstanding is subjective.
It's so bad.
Zach, I want you to hear this. Subjective does not mean not real. It means subjective. Morality exists, and we use it. Like I mean, if I use morality, then I'm using morality whether it's objective or not. Right? I still have my moral opinions, and you have yours, and we can't say that any one person's opinion is more true than the other because of their subjectivity. But we can feel passionate about it. There are sometimes I will say that it's always wrong to grape a child. Always. Period. That doesn't mean it's objective. It means it's a passionate stance that I hold. That is always the case. It's my subjective opinion that it's always wrong.
Yeah, I know, but like, so you're telling me if someone does something bad and in their mind they thought it was okay, what should be their punishment?
Well, we'd have to just decide it amongst ourselves, and there's not anything that's governing this.
In their mind, they thought it was okay.
We have to be so when we use justice, the goal is to get rid of harm and bad behavior, and if somebody is doing it because, well, this is you're gonna have to just grant some things that I think that we'll agree on what bad is in most cases, right? So what can we just like that's fine, but like if I because it's subjective and somebody does something that's bad that I think is bad in my opinion, and that let's say society at large thinks it's bad. Let's just use the example child rape. We can do that. We'll say that he did that, but he thinks in his mind that it's good and it's subjective, whatever. So how do we stop him? First, we just capture him and don't let him out. And maybe if we don't let him out. Because otherwise he's gonna keep doing it.
If you thought that?
Oh, well, it would be based on his actions. But if we had some psychologists to find out why he reacts the way that he does, maybe it's just a lack of willpower. I don't know. If we see that he's able to, and I don't want to say that this is ever a thing that I would condone, but if we can verify that the harm will stop, then that's pretty much the goal.
I know that, but I mean, so you're telling me you're just gonna, if you feel like someone's making decisions that are wrong, you're gonna just lock them up and get them help?
Depends on the severity. So in that example, yeah, but depends on the severity.
I know, but how can you say that we can come to an agreement when everyone has like a lot of different subjective things when it comes to morality? Not everyone thinks a certain way.
We do come to agreements, and when we don't, we fight about it, and there's wars waged on it, and this is evident all throughout history. So let me ask you this. If God is the arbiter of morality, then how would you feel? Do you think that we should legalize slavery in America?
Why did you just move off the point?
No, I'm still talking about objective morality.
Well, you still haven't answered the question.
I want your opinion because I think that you might be inconsistent on this.
And I asked you.
I did. I answered it. And now I have a question.
Just said that we would go lock up people like they were doing.
Am I crazy? Like, I did answer his question, didn't I?
You didn't answer it.
You did.
Obviously, this guy's gonna do. Yeah.
Zach, say your question again, and then he'll give you the same fucking answer. Just do
Why
it.
are you so mad right now, Joyful? Me and him.
Because I feel like you're disingenuous as fuck.
Me and Lobes are having a calm discussion. I feel like he's very respectful.
Yeah, and you've been very rude.
I feel like you and
I tried to talk to you from the very beginning.
Zach, I'm a bit of a doormat sometimes. Joyful's not, and that's okay. Some people don't deserve to
you're
talk
not
to
a doormat. You're just not rude.
All right, Zach. So what Lobes is trying to ask you is about slavery. Can you answer his question or no?
Yeah, what's your question? Lobe, not the other dude. What's your question?
Yeah. I was asking, well, he was asking the same question I was asking, but I was asking, if you believe that God is the arbiter of morality, would you be in support of us legalizing slavery in the United States?
Would I personally be in support of it?
Yeah.
No, I would not support having slavery.
Well, why? Like the Bible says you can.
Well, also the Bible says things like love your neighbor as yourself, and I don't believe that would be loving. So
yeah, but that would be the not slave people, the criteria of the people from your nation.
God says we're all equal. Bottom line.
Well, I think you're talking about when Paul says in Christ there's none that are man nor woman or
does love your neighbor as yourself not be equal?
I just want to interject, Zach. I'm not going to be rude.
All right, Joe.
In Leviticus is where love your neighbor as yourself comes from, and in that very same book, that's part of the law is love your neighbor as yourself. That's what Jesus is quoting. Okay? And in that same book, it says you can own people for life, and you can hand them down to your children as property after you are too old to take care, or after you are gone. You can hand them down as property, and they will be your slaves for life, and so will their children. Okay. In the same book.
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I don't, regardless of what you feel like, if that disproves Christianity or whatever, all I know is God says love your neighbor as yourself, meaning that I'm not going to treat someone any differently if I don't want that on myself.
Right, so that's I think that makes you better than the Bible. I think you're good in spite of what you think is objective morality, because if you're getting this from the Bible, and I don't know if you're sola scriptura or what, but if you take the Word of God and the Word of God says you can own slaves and never once says you can't own slaves, then you saying the opposite is in spite of the Bible, and that makes you better than God, right? Morally, I think. I would say that from my perspective, your morality is better than God's morality, and that's something to be proud of.
Well, I got a quick question. Did God tell us, the readers, to own slaves, or did God tell someone he was talking to own slaves in that time period?
I fail to see how it even matters.
No,
whether
it would,
he told us or he was talking to the Israelites. Okay, all right. So what if we were Israelites?
No, so back then, would you agree that things would be differently than now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
well,
what
yeah,
if
I mean, God would be the same.
Yeah, I know that. But what if at the certain time and how the world was, like, what if God had to maneuver around to achieve certain things differently than with the amount of people today and how we are today?
Why would God have to bend and move and change stuff
I didn't
to
say
like
bend.
our whim?
I said decisions based on how the people are and how the world was. The world just was like it was a lot earlier.
We shouldn't. I mean, we shouldn't be able to have any power over what God can or cannot do.
That and Zach, God told the Israelites that they have to follow that law he gave them in Leviticus forever, as long as they live in the land that he has given them. So right now, Israel
What's
lives
the
in
verse
that
for
land.
that?
That's in Deuteronomy
It's Leviticus.
12:1.
Okay.
Could you read me that verse?
Yeah.
Anyway, Lobes, so no, I would not have slavery now.
I think that makes you good but inconsistent. I just want you to acknowledge that.
Well, how am I
You don't have to do it
inconsistent?
publicly, but because this would be in contradiction to God's law.
What
so
about
you're disagreeing with God? If
God
God's real, He
didn't say-
knows.
God
and you're
didn't-
like saying it to His face.
Would you agree that God talks to the readers, but he also talks to the people sometimes in the Bible? Would you say God ever talks to the readers?
I don't know if He ever talks necessarily to the readers. I don't think
Well,
it
he
ever
does.
says you
Well,
reading to the
He doesn't
reader.
say you, but there's times where he's not directly talking to people, which would infer that he's talking to the readers. And he never says go own slaves. Obviously,
He does.
No, he
doesn't ever
does.
say-
Deuteronomy.
Pull up the verse, please.
Hold on. Deuteronomy 10. He literally tells them, "Nations that are far away from you, go over there and offer them peace. And if they accept your peace, you are to take them as slaves, as forced laborers. And if they don't agree to you, then kill all the men and take the women and children as forced slaves."
Who is he talking to?
Israel.
Okay, I see you guys still aren't answering. He talks to people and he talks to.
So are morals objective, or do they change over time?
Morals are. It's literally what God says, and because
No,
he said-
if they are objective, they don't change. Do you know what the word objective means?
Yeah, I know what the word objective means.
Okay.
Sir, man, you don't have to be disrespectful.
I'm not being disrespectful, but you are being
You are,
disingenuous again. So do objective morals change over time? Yes or no?
Everything is grounded in God.
Answer my question.
Everything is grounded in God. That's my answer
Do
to you.
objective morals change over time?
Well, did God change over time? No. So everything's grounded in God.
Okay, so if he said you could have slaves then, that means you can have slaves now because objective morals don't change.
Where
or
does
God,
he say have slaves now? I don't
he
understand.
literally.
Why he said that.
We've already been over this.
You
Zach.
didn't. He wasn't talking to the readers. He was talking to the people.
All right, so the people
I don't think
of
it matters.
It does matter because there's times where God or there's times where Jesus talks to the
Well,
readers. And there's
okay.
times
So
where
if
he
you would be
doesn't.
talking, so then this would apply to the Israelites and not us. So then we could be under God's law taken as slaves by the Israelites because we're from a neighboring nation. So that's actually worse for us.
If God is talking to an individual or a group of people back then, just like there's many instances of, or if he's talking to a reader, it is a completely different thing. If he said, go own slaves right now, or you go do this, speaking to the reader, which he does many times, it would be a different story. And you.
So why? Okay, so
And also, I
so
was
you think it's
wondering,
good? You think it's
didn't
good that
even
he
know-
commanded the
Lobes, I'm
slavery?
just wondering why you didn't even know that he ever talks to the readers. That just proves that.
Well, I
like,
can't think of a time when he does that, but
So you don't think God or Jesus ever talks to any of the readers?
I think that
it's
sometimes
just
things are said in the Bible that is applicable to the reader, but I don't think that it ever is like, dear reader, like
No,
Deadpool.
you don't
breaking the
have to
fourth
say
wall.
dear reader to be talking to the reader. Are you
Well,
kidding?
no, that was just an example of a way that you could do it.
Well, I mean,
you
what if-
talk to the reader in the second person?
Well, by you saying dear reader, it makes it look like he would have to say that for that.
It was an
be-
example of
yeah.
speaking in the second person. That's what it was.
Well, it doesn't.
But okay,
doesn't-
so but let's go back to the thing. So you think that it's different because we live here now, and that was back then. There, that was the old God, or this is the new God, and it's fine. His objective morals change or whatever. But like,
I don't think.
do you
anything-
think it was good? Do you think it was good that God said that they could own slaves then?
Well, I mean, by slaves, What if God meant, something different? We weren't there. What if he meant slave to our sin? What if he made slave to...
No, he didn't.
Oh, well, what do you say then?
Leviticus 25:44 through 46 says, "Your male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. From them you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of the temporary residents living among them and members of your clans born in your country, and they are to become your property. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property,
Is your point...
and they can be your slaves for life, but you must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly."
Okay, so because you guys feel like slavery is immoral, which I feel the same way, it doesn't mean that because God commanded people to do things back then, it doesn't mean he doesn't exist. Just because in my...
That's fine, but I want you to
right now, Zach.
But
We're
that's
talking
the
about
only
objective morals.
You're not bringing up anything else.
We're talking about
Zach,
we are talking about objective morals.
Hey,
you can try to pivot
Joyful,
away from
you don't
that.
have to rage at me. I'm
Zach,
talking about that.
Zach,
You brought up
can
objective morality.
You are the
Yeah,
one
but I'm
that
talking
wanted to
you,
talk
not
about.
Joyful.
Zach, shut up and listen.
Just tell me.
So listen. I know it's hard for Christians to listen and be
No,
patient.
it's not.
So what you brought up was objective morals. That's what we've been talking about this whole time. That we haven't even got to God existing. We have been talking solely about objective versus subjective morals, and you have yet to show us objective morals. And in fact, every time we get you into a corner where you hold on, Zach. Every time we get you into a corner, you try to pivot away from actually engaging.
When did you get me into a corner? I'd like to know.
I would also like to point out, Zach,
Lobes
that
did.
Yeah, what was it though?
I would like to point out that you said that even if he says some stuff that we think is immoral doesn't mean he's not real, but you said that because of the objective morality, this is evidence for his existence. That's why you brought it up in the first place. So if we can say that this isn't the case,
it's also not
by the own rules that you have set for your criteria, then it would at least discredit, if not disprove.
It doesn't disprove it because I told you a million times that.
It would disprove this specific one.
No, it wouldn't, because every Christian knows that God is all-knowing. Correct? You would believe? Would you agree with that?
Most Christians think that God's.
Yeah. Well, you're not a Christian if you don't think he's all-knowing, because he says he's all-knowing, right? So if
there's plenty of Christians that don't think that.
Well, you're not a Christian, then. That's what my point is.
Well, you're a Christian if you're a follower of Christ.
Yeah, but if you say you're a follower of Christ, and it's like, but nah, this is different though, and I don't think this, and you're not a follower.
Well, if I told you that Jesus Christ is my personal Lord and Savior, and I dedicate my life to Him, and I believe that He died for my sins and rose from the dead 3 days later, and then I'm asked, is God all-knowing? I said, I don't know, maybe. Am I a Christian?
No, you're not a Christian, because if he says he's all-knowing and you simply say you don't know if he's all-knowing, then you're not a Christian. You have to what he puts down is what he puts down. I don't know what your point is there. You might be on the verge.
I've never heard that take before.
But if you don't agree with
so what's the all right? So I got a different question now, and I know this is kind of off topic from what we were talking about. But we were at a wall. So what is the criteria for being a Christian?
I believe you have to, like you said earlier, accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. I believe that although you can struggle with sin, you have to be trying your best to build your relationship with God. You can't just say you're Christian and then do a bunch of bad stuff and not really care about it. You have to really, I guess, just feel bad for your sins as well. Not feel bad because you did something to yourself, but feel bad because you genuinely did something that's against what God wants.
Okay. And on top of that, you have to believe that He knows everything.
Yeah, you have to believe He's all-knowing, all-loving, all-powerful. And if you don't, you could be on the way to Christianity, but you're not necessarily believing in the Christian God, because that's what God is described as in the Bible. Would you disagree with that?
I mean, your definition is your definition. Your criteria is your own. Most Christians would stop you before. Well, because I had to add that part. Remember, you forgot that part because usually it's not in the spiel.
Think God is all-knowing?
No, that's not the point.
All-powerful.
You're saying that you're not a Christian. You're saying this is, and honestly, this is kind of besides the point anyway. Because
no, I'm just kind of wondering.
What makes you a Christian.
you just like with the atheist point, where it was like, oh well, that's not what most atheists believe about the. They're always
most Christians believe that God is all-knowing. That's a fact.
Yes,
most Christians do believe that. But I've never heard until I met you any Christian that says you have to think that specifically in order to be a Christian. Like when you stopped listing the criteria, I had to remind you to include the thing that you added earlier.
So you don't have to agree with what God says He is in the Bible.
I don't think so.
Well, then, you're not Christian,
guys.
so I don't think you would understand that. But
well, I was, and Joyful was a pastor.
Joyful, you can look up this. How about this, Joyful? Look up: do most Christians believe God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-loving?
We haven't. We've already agreed to that. We've said that's not a point of contention
Okay,
here.
then how is someone a Christian if they don't believe that?
Oh my God, man! That's like.
Oh my God, that's a basic question.
No, because I've already said, Zach, that most Christians do think that God's all powerful, but most Christians do not believe that you have to think or all knowing that He is that way to be a Christian. And I'm sorry, Joyful, we went on a whole tangent as to what it takes to be a Christian and everything, and it was kind of besides the point. So
Zach,
that's kind of my bad.
That the kick pole got you. I hated that for you. We've got Amir over on Video Ninja. Amir, are you a Christian, and what is your age?
In the first instance, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Oh, perfect, cool. I'm 37 years young. I'm not a Christian, but I do believe in God. I'm not sure if that makes me suitable for the purpose of this conversation.
Go ahead and give us what you got, and we'll talk. We'll at least talk for a few minutes with you. Hear you out.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So when I think about why anything at all exists, why there's something rather than nothing, I wouldn't say that the God hypothesis is a flawless explanation, but given the options we currently have on the table, such as brute facts or infinite regress, quantum fluctuations, I still think it's the most compelling. Not because it's perfect, but because the alternatives seem even less coherent. So I'm curious, do you think naturalism offers a better explanation for existence itself?
I do, and the reason I do is because I can see I have evidence that time, space, and matter do exist. I have no evidence that a God exists. So I would think that the probability that time, space, and matter were eternal has greater weight than a God that I have no evidence for being eternal.
Okay, I mean, you can say that with perfect utility. I think we're all in agreement, and we can say that there's evidence that time, space, matter exists. It's more a question of the origins, and you're suggesting that it's more, just so I can understand, you're suggesting that it's more credible to think that these are eternal rather than to posit the fact that they were created by something supernatural. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's adding stuff.
So, I mean, to that point, do you find that there are some absurdities to deal with in terms of things like an infinite regress? And how would you approach those absurdities with like infinite regress?
Well, I don't think it's an absurdity at all. Because the only concept we have of eternal regress would be math, and math definitely eternally regresses. There's no end to it.
Sure. I mean, I think mathematics, it operates on the abstract. It's empirical phenomena are kind of bound by physical laws, and there's generally the consensus amongst mathematicians that infinities can't exist in the real world. And you come across other kind of logical absurdities that come with traversing infinities, things like Hilbert's paradox, etc.
So here's my thing. I can't see your name, but what should I call you?
Is someone talking to me?
Yeah, can you hear?
I was asking.
Yeah, I can hear you just about. It's a little bit muffled. My name is Amir.
You said Amir?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Joyful and I differ very slightly on this. We're mostly in agreement. I think that he's more confident in this than I am, but I still would say it probably is this eternal regress. Now, I personally can't fathom something coming from nothing, so that's absurd to me. But I also can't fathom anything always existing, so that's also absurd to me. So, like, every notion that I've ever heard for the origin or the explanation for us being here, all of it sounded absurd to me. But here we are. And so I can't really say that, do I think that it's God? No, of course not. That's absurd. Or don't be ridiculous. Do I think it's an infinite regress? Probably not. That sounds kind of absurd to me, too. I think that existence is absurd, man. Like, I am an absurdist, and that's not the reason why, but it does fit nicely. That, I mean, every explanation I've heard sounds like hogwash to me. What am I to do is, to get to God, I would have to just, like, arbitrarily pick it, from my perspective, anyway.
What was your name, sorry?
My name is Lobes the Absurdist. You can just call me Lobes.
Lobes, I'm in complete agreement with you. Like, I completely share your sentiment. I think all of the explanations that we have are absurd to lesser.
Oh, I can't hear the guest anymore. Joyful.
You see, when I say that, given what we know,
Can you repeat yourself? Joyful accidentally muted you for a second.
Edmare?
Yeah.
Hey, can you restart? We lost the mic there for a second.
As in restart everything that I've said from the very beginning.
So no. So, when you said you share my sentiment, I think you were accidentally muted.
I think from all of the explanations that we have available to us, all of them are absurd to greater or lesser extent. It's those extents that we're trying to debate and speculate what gives us the most plausible option to roll with. I think from all of the options that we do have, God happens to be the best explanation. I'm not therefore saying that it's a brilliant explanation. I just think that given the options, it's the best one.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I disagree. I think that it's one of the more absurd ones. I think that it's arguing from incredulity. What Joyful was saying was he was basically applying Occam's razor. This is how I approach it, where the simplest explanation is the best one, not as a general rule, but as a good, or I guess a general rule. It can have exceptions. You can use it as a general rule. When we're this perplexed about our existence, positing a God without any positive evidence, I think, is more absurd than looking at what we do have, which is eternal energy, because the first law of thermodynamics is that we can't create it or destroy it, yet it's here. So that means, for me, that makes it seem more likely that it has always existed. And an infinite regress seems absurd to me, but if this is the evidence suggesting that, and I'm not the best person to advocate for it. Trust but Verify on TikTok is really good at talking about infinite time and stuff like that. Joyful, you should have him up at some point. He would be a good one. Yeah, I think it's more possible. I think it's more probable. But the God thing, I have problems with it, but it has no evidence either.
At that stage, the laws of physics as we understand completely break down. So to then suggest that the first law of thermodynamics is still consistent at that stage is not an accurate scientific statement to make.
Oh, you're talking about the Big Bang or the singularity?
Well, you mentioned that the first law of thermodynamics is in energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change from one form to another. Therefore, adding credence to the fact that energy is eternal, I don't think that's a statement that can be issued with any degree of certainty, because our understanding of cosmology is that the laws of physics themselves,
I agree.
Dynamics, break
I
down.
agree. What I was doing, Amir, was I was doing what you were doing. But I'm coming from a genuine place. I can't say it with any amount of certainty. I'm just saying that because of those reasons, I lean that way. But I don't have the same reasons to posit a God. I think that that's adding something we don't see evidence for. We see evidence that there's eternal energy, and maybe we can't verify it 100%, but at least there's some evidence. But the evidence that we have for God is arguments from incredulity, where people they find themselves in this conundrum that we find ourselves in, and then they make up God.
Yeah, it's a good point that you're raising there. Even if we grant for a second that there is evidence pointing to the fact that energy is eternal, I don't actually subscribe to that belief, but if we grant it nonetheless, it still doesn't explain why anything at all exists. Moreover, as well, I think we still have this philosophical issue to contend with being able to traverse infinity and being able to suggest things like an eternal past can exist. And I can give you examples of where I think an eternal past would break down both philosophically and logically.
Okay, but wouldn't a God posit an eternal regression?
I mean, it's a good question, and no, because God transcends space, time, and matter, and so that question would imply that there is a temporal aspect to God, which is not the case.
Well, transcending time is an illogical concept.
In what way would it be illogical?
Because all time is change. It's a change of states. So God would have to be going through changes of states from going from creating to not, or from not creating to creating the universe we live in. So God would have to be within inside time to create in the first place.
I don't think that would necessarily be true. I think if something exists, and there are certain words that I think need to be used to avoid semantic confusion, like, things like God existing before time isn't actually correct, because it's like, what came north of the North Pole. So I think the correct term is to say sans creation. I don't actually see any logical problems with something existing outside of space, time, and matter and being responsible for its creation and origins. Granted, I will take your point that, again, and reducing it back to what Cobe said, which are all in agreement here, I think every single explanation that we are confronted with, whether it's God or, an eternal universe, they all have their absurdities. They all have things that are just like, this is really fucking confusing. But out of all of the options, again, just trying to build an argument as to why I think God happens to be the best explanation. Because what you said there, you can say it with perfect utility, and I grant you that it's a point worth pondering, and we can reflect on that. And then equally, I could present issues with things like an infinite regress or an eternal past, and we can continue to have these conversations. But I think we're generally at the crux of it in agreement that this is all very fucking baffling. You guys have leaned more towards naturalism, and I think, Cobe, you mentioned that it appeals more to Occam's razor. It's more simplistic in its argument, and I'm also a big proponent of Occam's razor as well. I think the God hypothesis actually matches that criteria more so than naturalistic explanations, but that becomes a separate conversation altogether.
How do you feel about this? When I said earlier that I can't really fathom something coming from nothing, I can't fathom things always existing. I think that's probably what it is. I just have to accept that maybe I can't understand it, but that's probably the case. But another one that I have a hard time with is nothing existing. I cannot conceptualize nothing existing. I know for a fact something can exist because something does. I mean, look around. We exist. So verified things can exist. But can there be a state where absolutely nothing exists? Is that even possible? Because if it is, I don't know how you feel about this, but if you did think that maybe it was possible that at one point there was nothing, that the universe did not exist and there was literally nothing, you couldn't really describe it, right?
Absolutely. Of course you could. That becomes a thought experiment. Yeah. Because even trying to explain nothing makes it something. Mm.
Yeah. So for me, like that makes it seem illogical to think that there even was ever just nothing, let alone something coming from nothing.
Yeah, well, I see where you're coming from, Cope. You're suggesting that given the options of fathoming something, even the wording is it's like riddle me this, riddle me that. You're suggesting that having something that is eternal makes more sense than trying to conjure up a scenario where something emerged from nothing, pointing out the absurdities of what nothing actually is. As in, yeah,
Right, and that's where I think theists agree, and so generally what they do is rather than think that the universe is eternal, they think, well, God must have done it, and then they make the mistake of making God eternal. I think that and just define him as transcending time and space. Like we had a guest earlier that was using the ontological argument, which is more circular than a pizza. God is the way that I say he is because I've defined him as such, which is just asinine, right? So this, and you described it correctly when you said the God hypothesis. I'm glad that you did that. You seem like you're very open. Seems like you're not even necessarily making a positive statement absolutely, which I can respect. But I think that there's more problems when you posit a God. I think that it's from an intellectual slip up where people have this problem and they don't like things always existing, but they accidentally make God always exist in their definition. Hey, I'll be right back, Joyful. Take the reins. I have to say goodnight to my son, and I'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Go to the bathroom.
Yeah, right on, love.
yeah, take your time.
Yeah, Admir, I guess I would reiterate what he said is, like, I do understand that there's that amount of, I don't want to say confusion, but an amount of non-understanding when it comes to these things, because I would never posit that for sure, like, there was an eternal amount of big bangs and big crunches. Like, I personally think that model makes a lot of sense. What I've read about it makes a lot of sense. And so, like, that would be something I would take into consideration personally. But at the end of the day, I don't think I know what happened before the Big Bang, because we can't observe it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Sorry, just to reiterate, you were saying that you lean more into the cyclic model of the universe in terms of. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, are you therefore under the lens of naturalism? Are you therefore suggesting that the universe being eternal, even though it goes through endless cycles of crunches and expansion, is something that we should therefore accept as a brute fact, and therefore it doesn't require an explanation? Is that correct?
No, I don't think it's a brute fact at all. That is just what I would more lean to. I guess my bigger problem with positing God would be a little different than Lobes. And my problem is when we look at probabilities, you have to be able to quantify whatever that you are positing in both styles of probabilities. And I don't think there's any way to quantify a God. So to even come up with a probability of God but I can quantify time, space, and energy through observation.
Absolutely, but we can't quantify the origins of time, space, and energy through observation. We can obviously make statements about time, energy, matter, etc., as it manifests within the natural world. But it's interesting because, just going back to something else you said, you mentioned that you don't accept the universe existing eternally as a brute fact. So does that therefore imply that you think there is a greater explanation as to why the universe exists eternally? We just don't know what it happens to be.
Yes, that would be my stance.
Okay. Okay, so I think we're getting a little bit closer to the crux of the arguments, as in, you see, that's exactly kind of where I'm at. It's like I also don't accept the universe existing as a brute fact, and I could also concede that there is maybe a possibility that it might exist eternally. But if we're both in agreement that that still isn't sufficient enough to explain why it exists eternally, and there could be a greater explanation as to why anything at all exists.
Yep.
Do you not therefore think it's not unreasonable to therefore at this stage appeal to something that completely transcends naturalism itself? And I don't like to use the term supernatural, because supernatural, it starts getting conflated with like ghosts and spirits, and it almost tarnishes it, but almost appealing to an explanation that is not contained within naturalism itself. We can call it an a-naturalist explanation for semantic clarity.
Yeah, so I guess what I would say to that is, again, it would go back to the problem of possibility versus probabilities, and the only thing I can make a probability for is a materialistic world.
I see what you're saying, but how can you make a probabilistic claim about how did you phrase it, a naturalistic world?
Oh, because I can see and I can observe that time, space, and matter exist. I cannot observe that God exists. So it is more probable that time, space, and matter always existed than God, because God cannot be observed.
Absolutely, and I think you can say that with perfect utility. But again, even if we concede that, and we're all in agreement that we can see time, matter, and energy, and even if we accept that it has always existed eternally, by your own admission, you still don't believe it existing eternally is a brute fact as to why anything at all exists. You were still suggesting, I think even by your own words, that it's very likely that there is still a greater explanation as to why anything at all exists, even if what exists has eternally existed. That's where we're trying to get at. And so at this stage, I think we've...
Yeah, but I think that the problem I'm always going to come to is I cannot come up with any probability for God because it can't be quantified. So I'm never going to think that God is a probable solution to that problem.
Rather than saying God, because I think at this stage as well, when we say God, maybe the first image that comes to mind is a religious God, some bearded dude in the sky, loves humanity and all of that. If rather we substitute the word God with an explanation that transcends naturalism altogether, is that something that you can get on board with, as if to say the reason why the natural world exists is because there is an explanation greater than naturalism itself that is more likely to explain why it exists?
I don't know how I could get to that point without being able to observe something that would fill that gap.
Right. That's an interesting point, because when we talk about observation, it's as if you're trying to reduce the origins of naturalism within the empirical framework. But the problem there is that when you reduce the origins of naturalism within an empirical framework, you're still working with the limited scope of tools available within the empirical framework to try to test a hypothesis that is not bound by the empirical world itself. I do apologize. Sometimes the wording of these things, it can be quite muddled up and confusing, but I hope you see the point that I'm trying to get at.
No, I get the point you're trying to get at, for sure, and I understand being at that point. I guess I just can't get there with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think maybe a simpler way of me asking the question to illustrate the dilemma is, can a system explain its own creation without appealing to something outside of itself? Like naturalistic processes, they're all bound by space, time, and causality. And if these dimensions themselves originated, it's unclear how a naturalistic framework, which presupposes these dimensions, could account for them. And so to me, something beyond time, beyond space and causality, as in something that's transcendent, it seems more plausible.
No, I get your stance there. I definitely get
And so I think at this stage, if we reduce it down, it actually becomes a matter of epistemology, where, you see, theists, I believe, we tend to value metaphysical truths, whereas atheists prioritize empirical truths.
Yep.
And so there is that conflict there of epistemology. And it's quite difficult there, I think, to ascertain who's more likely to be correct or who's more likely to be incorrect. Because all of us, I mean, through this very civilized intellectual discourse, we've realized the absurdities on both fronts. And, you know, these are why these conversations are so valuable.
For sure. Mayor, I am going to move on to a Christian because I have a Christian itching to debate me, and
absolutely,
that's what I'm here for. But I appreciate you, man. That was a great conversation. Come back anytime. I appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise. Sorry, what was your name just before I leave?
Joyful is what I go by, but my name's also Tony. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to call me.
Okay, well, Tony, it was an absolute pleasure, and tell Kobe as well. Thank you so much for his time.
You have a great night.
Ciao.
Nice guest there. We are going to another Video Ninja call. We've got Jill here.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah. What is your age, and are you a Christian?
I am a Christian, yes. I'm well over 40.
Right on. What do you got for us tonight?
Yeah, I was listening in earlier. You two atheists, right?
Yep.
Okay. There seems to be a lack of understanding when it comes to, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but when it comes to what the Bible actually teaches about slavery.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll go to the verses.
One of you stated that we can't trust the Bible, or basically, I'm paraphrasing, we can't trust the Bible's morality because I don't know what word you use exactly. This is a paraphrase, but it promotes or sanctions.
Yeah, slavery, rape, and the murder of infants. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, on the slavery issue, I don't know if you're aware of this, but in Exodus 21, verse 16,
yep,
it actually outlaws the practice.
That's a lie.
Called slave.
That's a lie. Kidnapping. Yeah, because you're saying something nonsensical. All right, so in Exodus 21, in Exodus 21,
finish my point?
Into Exodus 21, okay, what it outlaws is kidnapping. Kidnapping is totally different than what Leviticus 25 is saying they can do, and not only that, then you have to explain why God in one part says you cannot have slaves, and then in another part says you can have slaves. Go ahead.
Is he there? I can't hear him. Can you?
No.
I wanted to say I almost made it back in time to say goodbye to the last guest. He was great. I liked him. TikTok? Is this how you guys conversate?
Well, if you're going to say something that is not, if you're going to say something untrue, all right, I'm muting you again. If you're going to say something untrue, I'm going to stop you in your tracks. If you want to have an actual conversation that is built in saying true things, then you will not get muted a single time. In fact, we will have a great conversation like we did with the last few guests. But you are not going to come up here and railroad and say the Bible says things it does not. Nowhere in Exodus 21 does it forbid slavery. In fact, it says a father can sell his daughter to be a sex slave in verse 7.
So when do I actually get a chance to make the argument?
When you quit crying that I cut
the argument.
Okay, yes.
Okay, if I'm not telling the truth, then prove me wrong.
Is kidnapping slavery?
Don't cut me off.
Is kidnapping slavery? Is kidnapping slavery?
Okay, can I make an argument?
Is kidnapping slavery? Yes or no?
Can I make an argument?
Answer my question.
Try to get into your
answer my question
can
first.
I actually make an argument.
You can cry all you want. You're going to answer my
present
question.
My argument, please.
Is kidnapping slavery?
Okay, if I can't present my argument,
is kidnapping slavery? Well, that's because this is an old tired. This is an old. Okay, bye. This is an old, tired apologetic that gets nowhere with anybody because it's not biblical. You cannot tell me that in verse 7 he says, hey, you can sell your daughter as a sex slave, and then in verse 16 he says, you can't have slaves. You come here to say that nonsense, and I'm not going to give you the time of day. That's just an absurd.
Yeah, it's also really funny, and you pointed this out, but I wanted, for those listening, Joyful made an excellent point that even if kidnapping did mean don't own slaves, if it says in Leviticus you can own slaves, that's inconsistent at best. At best. What, God changing his mind, or God giving certain... because then what does Leviticus 25 mean, if not that? If God says that you can do something and you can't do something, that just means that he's talking out both sides of his mouth. Both are the word of God, right?
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter how you cut it. That cannot mean either you have to say the Bible is univocal, and in one place God says don't own slaves, and in the other place he says to own slaves. But even in the same chapter, he says you can sell your daughter as a sex slave. And
that's really funny. I didn't even know that was in the same chapter, but I'm going to use that now.
21:7 and Exodus 21:16. Kim, are you a Christian, and what is your age?
I'm 19. Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to let Lobes talk to you here for just 1 second, and I will be right back.
All right, we're tag teaming. So what was your name? I didn't catch it. I'm sorry.
Kim.
I'm sorry?
Kim.
You said your name is Kim?
Yeah. So like I was saying, God is spiritual. You can't prove God with your physical human because it's of the spiritual realm. Together.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I would agree that you can't prove the spiritual with the physical, but that means that I have no reason to believe in the spiritual. So can you explain why I should believe in the spiritual? Some good points, man.
Okay. What about dreams? Explain dreams then.
Dreams are brain activity that is happening while you're sleeping. It's just a phenomenon that we experience. I've heard that the brain, and I'm not a neurologist, so I don't know, but I've heard that the brain sets up your dreams while you're walking through your day, and once you go to sleep, it sort of plays it back for you to keep your mind distracted or calm or whatever while you're asleep.
No, actually,
it's all natural.
No, it's more than that. Okay, that is possible, but also God also speaks to you through your dreams, through that's how some people even some people even communicate with angels, even in the Bible. Okay. What about paranormal activities? How would you explain that? Ghosts.
I think when somebody proclaims paranormal activity like ghosts or demons or something, they are simply mistaken. Whenever we go in to try to verify these things, the best evidence that we get for it is a big question mark, is an unanswered question. And most of the time, we're able to find a natural explanation. So usually these things are debunked, and when they aren't debunked, they're left as an open case, where we should not posit anything specific, because that's not scientific. Dude, you panting is making me feel like I'm beating you in an anime fight. The way that you pause and pant like that.
That's funny, difficult to explain to you, you know? Like, I don't know how to put it into words. Because, like, everything is in the Bible, but the problem, like, you guys don't believe in the Bible. You think it was written by men. Like, the Bible was written by men, but, like, these are men who experienced, these are the experience of people. It's not made up.
Well, I mean, but you have to demonstrate that it is actually the experiences of people and not made up. And some of it probably is the experiences of people, and I think a good chunk of it is made up, especially when, and you have to give it to me when I say that the stuff that's magical in the Bible, can you blame me for thinking that it's made up, right?
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say, about your argument about, I don't know what you were saying again, about you're disagreeing with God, blah blah blah. What you were saying, if he supports kidnapping, or what was it, slavery? If he supports slavery, like that fact, like it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Could you like read the verse?
Doesn't. It's fine.
Let's explain that. That when you're talking about slavery, when you're talking about like how he supports slavery and stuff.
Well, that's what we bring that up when people start saying God's all good, or God is the arbiter of morality. And then it's pretty easy to get people to be inconsistent by bringing up the slavery thing, and then they say, well, they disagree with that, which is disagreeing with God in the Bible. Then they have to try to jump through hula hoops and do all these gymnastics to try to defend it, or say why the plain reading of the text is not what it literally says on the page. So that is dismantling one argument. It doesn't necessarily mean there's no God. God could be evil, right? Like if there's a God, then this would be consistent with an evil God or an indifferent God, but not a good one.
Now, how is he evil if he literally died for everyone's sins? Like Jesus, like he wasn't sinful. Like he was pure, and he sacrificed himself. Like he was punished as if like for our sins, as if he lived a sinful life. You get it? If God sacrificed his own son for us, like how is he evil?
Okay, I understand that. So, for one, it does not take away the fact that he condoned slavery. That's still a thing that he did. But if we want to talk about the gospel message where Jesus came and died for our sins, I would wonder, why was that even necessary? Why was he able to, or why was he not able to forgive without the shedding of blood? I think that's kind of sadistic, right? Like somebody has to lose their life over what? Like I haven't done anything crazy. I haven't unalived anybody. Even if God told me to, I wouldn't, because I think I'm more moral than that God.
No, like it's just like it's principles. It's like how the world used to work.
Can I ask you? I don't want to cut you off, but can I ask you what? I just wanted to know where you are on the gospel thing, because there's different interpretations of it from Christians. Shout out to Daniel, by the way. He's awesome.
Hey, Daniel.
In the chat.
Amen.
So there's different interpretations from Christians on the gospel message and what the stakes are. So if you accept Jesus, you go to heaven. If you don't, then you go to hell. Is that what you think? Do you believe that?
Yeah.
See, this if that's the case, but let me just finish real quick. So if that's the case, if you think that, hang on, just let me finish. If that's the case, if we're given this dichotomy of accept Jesus and get paradise, or don't accept Jesus, it doesn't necessarily mean reject him. It means like if you don't even think he's real, you can't accept him. So you're in a place where you're screwed either way. you go to hell. This is coercion, and God sending his son to be sacrificed to make it look like he's the hero. I'm still talking, man. Where he's trying to make himself look like he's the hero, but he set up this system where we have to follow in line, or else. This is him putting someone on the train tracks so that he can swoop in and save them. And he even gives his life for it, but not permanently. So it's like he never really lost anything in the first place. It seems like manipulation. It seems like gaslighting. It seems like narcissistic toxicity. The gospel message does to me. No, you go ahead now. I finished my point.
Look, you have free will to choose. Like you know God exists because we are here. Like we have Christians, we have preachers preaching like God exists. You know that already, so you have the choice to choose God. And if you go to heaven and you reject you, it's not necessarily rejecting you. Like you are responsible for like you are responsible for that. Like he doesn't have anything to do with it because you didn't accept him, you didn't choose him. So you can't. Look, heaven is for believers. And if you're not a believer, you can't go to heaven. Like, so where else would you go? There's nowhere else.
Well, God decided that there was only one other place to go, and he decided that it would be really shitty. Now, God could have, if he's all powerful, I assume you think he's all powerful, he could have made a neutral place for us to go where it's the same as heaven, but we just don't have to hang out with him. And like, I don't think he's real. I mean, if he was real, I would think that he was an ass. But if I don't want to hang out with him, and he truly is loving, and he truly does want to give me a choice, he would not create this false dichotomy of love me and get rewarded, or I'm sorry, the only other place I can put you is this pit of fire. I wish I could I wish I could give you a snuggly place with rainbow monkeys and Cartoon Network all the time, but I don't have the power as God to do that. Of course he does, but he doesn't. He doesn't want to. He'd rather put us in fire than a neutral place.
Well, look, rejecting God is one of the biggest. Like, it's a sin in itself. Like, reject God. That's the thing, man. So like, plus like heaven is for like believers. Like, when you go to heaven, like it's for people who worship God. You go to worship God to get closer to God. But if you don't even believe in Him, like how would you worship God? You see, it would create chaos if you were to go to heaven because you don't even believe in it. You have many questions. You know, you're questioning Him and all of that. So like you can't go to heaven.
Well, dude, if I went to heaven, then I would believe in God, and I wouldn't be nearly as resistant. If I was presented with God and God was like, "Whoa, I'm not this evil guy the Christians say I am. I'm this good guy. I didn't have the power to stop any of that stuff. I can make a universe, but now I can't stop a lot of the evil, and it got away from me, and I was doing everything I could." I'd be like, "Wow, you're actually kind of cool. You made a mistake, but you're okay. Like, you seem nice. I want to hang out with you." If it was like that, and I saw him in like face to face, that would be great. I would want to hang out up there, especially if he literally didn't have the power to like stop me from going to hell otherwise. I mean, that's a different type of God, though, than the Christian God.
Nah, it's called judgment for a reason. When you are there, you can't repent once you're in heaven. Your time to repent is now. You see, it's going to be too late once you get... you just get judged once you're in heaven.
Well,
do you understand?
Yeah, we understand that, but what Lobes is trying to tell you is that one, we don't believe that. For two, you have to substantiate these claims. Like, you keep making all these claims, and he keeps rebutting you on different things, but you're never substantiating. You just come with more claims. You're gonna have to give us something to substantiate.
Okay. Look. When the devil repented, like he was cast out, but like it was by Michael. You know that, right? So like this tells us that God, like even in heaven, it's kind of similar to how it is here. He doesn't like like when you go to heaven, you won't see like it won't be like God just walking around casually. You won't just he's not.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know where this is going. Like, is this supposed to convince us that he's real?
But the problem,
it's supposed to convince you that if you don't believe in him here because you don't see him, even in heaven when you don't see him, you won't believe him, and it will be the same. So you can't enter heaven. You get it? Because you still be like, you'll be non-believers there. You'll be questioning his existence there as well.
That's not true. If I saw God, I would believe in him. The reason I believe that I'm in my room room... Hold on. The reason I believe I'm in this room right now is because I see that I'm in this room right now. The reason I believe that you are a person is because I'm having this conversation with you right now. If I stood before God, I would believe that God was real. I wouldn't still be a skeptic.
Not to mention that God, if he's all powerful and wants us to know he exists, he would succeed. I said this earlier tonight to another guest. Like, if he can make it so that we believe that he exists and then says, accept me or don't, there's still a choice involved, right? Accept me or don't, but you at least know that I exist and you know the parameters, you know the rules, you know the stakes. That's the least he can do. Tell us the rules of the game we're playing here. But like, he doesn't do that because we are not convinced. And so if he could, it stands to reason that he doesn't want to. He'd rather not let us know in a way that's convincing to us. And he's God. He's all powerful. He could convince us right now if he wanted to, but he doesn't. He'd rather us not believe.
Kim, I appreciate you being here. I am going to move on. You are a pleasant guest, but I am losing numbers in the drove. And thank you for being here, though. You have a good night.
Okay.
Yes, that was going nowhere. It was just a big circle of making claims about the Bible. And
it was fun to ping pong with him, but yeah, it was kind of just all over the place. Yeah, guys, we are losing some numbers. Make sure you're a track star, according to Daniel. You're a track star.
I'm not a track star. You can see my belly. I ain't no track star.
Make sure you guys are sharing the live out to people who you think might want to discuss this topic with Joyful and myself. If you haven't sent a heart me yet, it's only one coin, and it really helps the FYP. It really does. Gifts help the FYP too.
And also, guys, we have an hour and a half left. We got to 50,000 in the first hour and a half, and then the last hour we got 8,000 likes. Please start tapping them likes. I know that it's a lot, but we got to get this pushed out if we're going to have more conversations. Also, over on the YouTube, make sure that you click that thumbs up, subscribe, and also hit that heart over there on the side of the chat. Click it every now and again. That helps push us out into the FYP, and also typing in the chat. So if you guys could participate with the live, that would be amazing. I do appreciate it. Other than that, over here on TikTok also, if you aren't following me, follow me. If you're not following Lobes, make sure you're following Lobes. He will be a returning guest at some point on the channel. We already have September almost booked. Like, this, people are wanting to be involved in this, and this is gonna continue to be a thing where we have these different creators. We have things coming up where I won't even be involved. It will be two other creators on JA Debate, same background and everything, but they will be providing the live. Volsi and Benny will be next Monday, and then in September we have two different times that we have two people other than me in here. We have Hammy and Tiny Smaz, but before that we have something even better. We have Crystal J and Sam. Hopefully Sam. She doesn't know with school if she's going to be able to do it, but we will know for sure as we get closer. It's just, things are moving here. We had more conversations tonight than we've had. So it's obviously progressing, guys, and I owe that all to you. You guys participating with the live is what makes that happen. And the other thing I wanted to say is, here coming up, after Benny and Volsi, we have Christina Carroll, Joel Reads Bible, and then Justin ending out the month. So we have the heavy hitters are coming in at the end of the month, which will be nice. Daniel Green still hasn't. He's scared of me, so he still hasn't signed up. But he'll be here someday. He'll get on my level someday. and then the week that Hammy and something fun to look out for is on my other account. We're going to be doing some fun lives when other people do lives. I'll find another night to do a fun live on mine. Like me and Hammy are working out a date, probably around when either Crystal is live with Sam or Hammy and Tiny Smalls. We're going to be doing drunken debates, and we're going to be playing drinking games and debating people all night. It'll be a good time.
Hey, Daniel said he took it back. He's the track star. He was projecting as soon as you said that.
That's actually true. Daniel is more of a track star than me. But I'm the one that has eternity, Daniel. I want it on your show, and you can't take that away.
That's true.
I want eternity.
I wonder if he ever dipped his hand in the prize bag before he started
maybe
Trivianity. Well, by the way, guys, make sure you're following Daniel Green in the chat. Sometimes he does Trivianity, which is just Bible trivia / Christian history trivia. I saw it once, and it's such a good, fun concept. He runs it like a game show.
Yeah, and you win eternity.
The prize is eternal life. If you're not a Christian, you get the eternal life. So make sure you follow Daniel Green and tune in for his Trivianity. It's a fun gimmick.
Daniel Green also does have a YouTube, CS Lewdness. Lobes, do you have a YouTube?
I do. It's actually older than my TikTok, but I've only posted one video so far. I want to start posting more and cross-platform streaming and stuff, but I haven't yet. But it's the same name. If you want to follow me over there, you can.
If you want these videos to also post over there when you co-host, just let me know, and I can download them and send them to you, because they are on my YouTube. But if you would like to, when you co-host or whatever, want to put them on yours, I can send you a downloaded copy of it.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I might as well have them. It's the easy thing for me to post, so I'll agree. I'll do that. You send me them, and I'll put them up.
People like watching. I get more views after the fact on YouTube than I ever do in my actual live.
It's a scheduling thing. I love watching AXP, and I never catch it live. I've caught it live once. In the line.
I love AXP and the line. Yeah. And I've caught it live once, and it was because Justin was on, and I made it work to catch it, and that's been it. I take that back, I lied. I did watch Forrest Valkai and Skeptical Heretic the first time Skeptical Heretic was on. I did watch them as well. Hopefully
did you say that you were trying to get Forrest on this?
Yes. The problem is he does not want to do a TikTok live, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to do it through OBS if I want to get him, and then just send it out to TikTok. So it's gonna be a whole thing if I do get him. I'm gonna have to figure out how to make all that work, which I plan on doing eventually anyway. Do like Justin does, and not. So like I'm just on TikTok, and then I screen capture it and send it to YouTube. What Justin does is he's literally just sending it out to all these different platforms from one single location. It's it's a lot different than what I've got going on, and we'll get there.
I heard it's kind of a bitch to set that up.
Oh yeah, he has like 6 or 7 monitor screens. He has some crazy shit going on.
Sounds necessary. It does.
It does. It is. That's how he has like pulling different things onto the screen all the time, and it's awesome.
We can all learn from dropping the money where it's necessary. Get those extra monitors. Buy the big desk. It'll pay off.
From Super Chats, I bought a new mic and control board. So thank you guys that have contributed over on YouTube and Super Chats, because we got a new mic coming. We've got a new soundboard. And the next time, my goal is to get a good camera to hook up to the computer and start streaming from the computer and not my phone. That's the hopes.
The sport is wild, Daniel. That's for sure. You know, with your 29 days, I think.
Yeah, he has like 29 days of going
in the bank. Full streams, full day streams.
Absolutely. If you disagree with the background, whether you are on my YouTube or over on Deconstruction Junctions, if you are on Deconstruction Junctions, jump over to JA Debates YouTube and just click that thumbs up and go right back. I don't even care if you stay. Just click that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. It really helps boost out my channel as well. And I'm trying to build both at the same time, help Benny building Deconstruction Junction and also mine. So if you are over there, please, and if you're here on mine and you are not following Deconstruction Junction, it is also streaming the same live. Go over there, click the thumbs up, and join the channel for sure. Be awesome. That would be awesome. And yeah, for sure.
I do really appreciate the consistency with. I love seeing the familiar names in the chat. You know them when you see them. I'm talking 3 Pips and like F Dot and all that. Daniel, obviously. Daniel follows me around, man. I swear. Yeah, JT.
Joe reads Bible, comes in and says snarky shit and then leaves. All them people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we haven't dropped under like the high 30s, which usually my streams are like low 20s. So
we got up to 70 at one point, which is almost. The very first one was Spencer. We got up into 100 for a short time, but overall this live has performed. Mezzo is my fave. For sure, Mezzo
is very funny.
Mezzo is hilarious.
I love his approach. Me
too. I think Lobes finds out where I'm headed, then makes sure he's already there.
I did that with, this is unrelated, but I did that with, I work at a warehouse where people shop, and we had a visit, and I was in the merchandising department. I saw where the VIP was, and I was like making the aisles look good ahead of the walk, and they would walk by me and they'd notice me like fixing something up, and then later on they walked by me and saw me in another area, and they're like, wait, that's not your guy for this area, that's your guy for over here. And they started noticing. So I got busted one time. They saw that I was ahead of them at all times, just fixing shit up before they got there.
Right on. JT, nice to see you, my friend. Joel, thank you for the raid earlier from the subby only live. I appreciate that. Sent a lot of good faces up in here. We're already at 450 views for the live over on YouTube, which is good for this new platform, what we've done so far. So it's good. 100%.
Very cool.
Love that you're back live again. Yeah, and I am glad to be back live, and I'm glad doing it in this. You're trying to raid me during your live? There were people that came in and said Joel sent me, but I was wondering if it wasn't people like from when you were live arguing them, telling them to come argue with me, but then they never came up, and I was like, oh, maybe, I don't know. I'd say that that's employee of the month kind of work, though. True.
You're talking about my story, Daniel? Yeah, that's very employee of the month worthy. I was already promoted at the time, though. That's why I was jumping locations, because I was free to like move areas. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's cool that you were sending people, Joel. That's cool, man. We appreciate
It
it.
is. Should I be subbed here now instead of over at Joyful? I mean, it would probably do better for you because I won't be live over there very often. I will make stickers tonight, but I haven't asked for subbies yet because I haven't made any stickers for this account or anything. But yes, eventually I want to move, like, most of my live stuff is going to be here and not on Joyful. Joyful is going to be, my main account is going to be, like, I will do just lives when I have time, doing solo lives, and then I Am His Pastor. I'd say this account and I Am His Pastor is going to get the most live volume, and my other account's going to be more posting videos and stuff from here on out. It has too many strikes. I can't get any ground with it, and yeah, it's on a permaban watch still. So
damn. Did they tell you that? Is that how you found out? You got a notification about it?
My agent told me.
That's insane.
They were like, you have one more strike, brother. And I was like, okay.
That is insane, man. Wow. TikTok is so crazy about, like, the censorship and everything. I think it's probably mostly buzzwords, too.
Yeah, when I first started going live, like, I would literally be live for 7 minutes and get banned. Like, that happens several times.
That's like what happens to Spencer. That's like what happens to Spencer. He gets reported and flagged within the first few seconds sometimes. And he's like, are you shitting me? And he's like livid about it. It's if I wasn't so, like, a feeling for him, it would be funny. Like, if he was the butt of a joke, it would be hilarious because it's so quick sometimes. And he's like, this is ridiculous. You Christians reporting me. Why? This isn't what Jesus would do. And I feel for him, but it's like it never fails. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I really want. It's a good thing he has a backup now. He finally listened to me. And made a backup account.
I had 3 backup accounts, like, all 3 of my accounts, this one and I Am His Pastor were all just backup accounts at one point. Because I was literally going through them so quickly that I would go through 2 of them in a night. It was bad. And then eventually I was like, I have to quit doing so much LGBTQ stuff because that got me a lot.
Yeah, every time, like, the 2 times I've been restricted, like, for a week or whatever, it was because of talking about that topic.
Yeah, they hate
not
it.
even saying anything crazy. Just talking about the buzzwords or something. Maybe you're careful, the guests aren't careful. I don't know what the words are, but I don't like that topic anymore, and I want to explore it, but I feel like I can't because TikTok won't fucking let me.
That was like what I cut my teeth on, is doing LGBTQ and Christian nationalism topics. But then it quickly went into more religious debates because, yeah, I kept getting banned so often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No
Christians in the chat, man? Is it all friendlies in the chat?
I do believe so. I think we're down to all friendlies in the chat. Guys, if you have any Christian friends, please send it out. If you are in either of the YouTubes, get into Video Ninja. Me and Lobes are looking for a conversation. We have 40 minutes left of taking callers, and then we're going to do Q&A. So if you want to get in on the conversation, jump up in here, and we can have a conversation. We've proved it tonight that me and Lobes can have a conversation without having to be loud. I have got loud, but for the most part.
I don't really match the energy.
Oh, I just can't handle the dishonest. When people are just openly being dishonest, I'm over it. And maybe because I've been doing this for so long.
It's been really fun to make the jokes. Usually I don't make the jokes, but I felt a little bit more loosey-goosey and performative tonight, where I see it, the audience sees it, you see it. I'm just gonna let it rip, man. Like, you're being ridiculous here. Like, I pulled out the phone. This is not a phone, but I pulled out the I've got a call coming in a couple of times. if it felt appropriate, I didn't think I get to use it twice. And it's something I would never do on my stream. But
the calling your mom thing, I think I am gonna clip. That was pretty epic. I liked that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's good because I think when you're talking to people, I try to reach people. I want them to see my perspective. And when it's a dead end, when it's hopeless, and especially when I'm not in control of like who I'm talking to, it's like I could be talking to this person for God knows how long. I don't know how long Joyful wants to keep them up. I'm going to start cracking the jokes. I'm going to start being a little facetious here. I'm going to fart on him a little bit, you know?
That's why I put up the poll for Nick. That kid was just like I could not handle.
Nick, was it
like,
Zach?
Or Zach, yes, the guy that like I was just having none of, and he was having none
really
of me.
To you. Yeah, he was really
he was shitty to me off the gate. He's probably watched me live, is what it is, and knew that I can be an asshole. I feel sometimes like I bring like these co-hosts up, and I'm like the Matt Dillahunty, like when he's with Forrest Valkai or something, and Forrest is like having these conversations, and Matt's like, "No, you're gonna fucking
Shut the
listen.
fuck up! You're gonna answer to me." I missed Justin with him too, by the way. But how did that go? Was it like that?
I watched snippets of it. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I haven't had.
Oh,
usually
God.
I do that on the weekend.
I was doing Crystal J that night. I was doing Crystal that night, so I wasn't able to watch it. But I found out because of Crystal. I was like on as her guest for her Decon Q&A, and she was like, "Oh, it's a hard night. We've got Joel and Mezzo live right now, and we've got Justin with Matt Dillahunty." I was like, "Damn, this is a rough night."
Yeah.
Oh, we've got okay. So Tiny, what's your age, and are you a Christian?
No.
You're not age?
Also, no.
Damn. So you transcend age. That's very interesting.
I am timeless. I am immortal. I am without cause. I am the uncaused Smalls.
There you go.
Is it? What's more proper, by the way, Tiny Science or Tiny Smalls? Everybody in the chat, make sure you're following this guy, by the way. He's funny.
Yes.
Okay. Interchangeable, that's fine.
Yes. Yeah, he explained
so far, both my questions he said no or yes to. I asked open-ended questions.
At least we know that he can answer yes and no questions.
At least there's that. It seems like it's pulling teeth with theists a lot of the time.
It is.
Because no answer is good for them. Like, you go against your God if you answer truthfully, and you seem insane if you answer, if you answer truthfully, and you see what I'm trying to say. I failed.
Yeah, I get what
but you know what I'm trying to fucking say. Yeah, man.
So what's up, Tiny? What you got?
Yeah, my old screen name used to be the Uncaused Smiles. And I spelled it uncaused like UNCAWZED, uncaused.
Nice.
Yeah, I just wanted to do a drive-by and say hello and tell you guys I love you, and you guys are awesome, and I really appreciate you, and you're the best.
Same to you,
you're
Tiny.
the best.
Same to you.
No, you.
Okay, I'll concede.
I'm so looking forward to watching you and Tiny on here in a month. I am so looking forward to that.
Me and Tiny?
No, Tiny and Hammy. I meant him and Hammy.
Okay.
Tiny and Hammy are going.
I didn't even know I was doing it.
We'll get you on there sometime doing it with somebody else. Maybe you and Spencer could do one at some point.
That's Spencer is that's very much like the Matt and Forrest dynamic when I'm up there too, because I'll well I go live with him often in the morning. Usually he's live and I'm making breakfast and stuff, and I'll just jump in there, and he always brings me up, and he'll have a guest, and I'm like, this guest is kind of an idiot, and they're projecting onto the host. But I have an explanation for them, and before I can say anything, he's like, "This is the problem with you." I'm like, well, I'll just let him go. Man, he's fun though. He always speaks the truth.
No, I love.
He always speaks the truth.
It's awesome.
It's
Well,
great.
Tiny, I'm gonna drop you down, buddy. But
Okay. Well,
Thank
real
you.
quick before I go, that girl Lindsay that was on here, her real name's Autumn. I don't know if you know who she is, but she was doing cosplay. Just for a heads up. But
oh, Autumn, the one that like red-haired girl,
Yep.
curly. Yep, right on.
So you're saying she was cosplaying? She wasn't a theist. She was running the bad argument on purpose.
Well, not only did she shenan on my page the other day, she came in here and was doing shenan again.
That's fun. I like how you did that. But that's okay. Well, that's kind of a relief. That's kind of a relief, to be honest. So when I had who was up here? It was Benny. Who was up here? I think when you were
Benny
gone.
was. Yep.
Talking to, so we were talking to her, and that felt all over the place. The ontological argument was an insane grab. I was surprised that was the first one that she went for, but now it makes sense, you know. But I am surprised though if it was a troll, like apparently it was. Why it wasn't Tag? I thought for sure it'd be Tag if it was a troll. That's the easiest one to troll with.
It is. Or you can just make up random crazy shit.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah, and it could be pretty incoherent, like the character I was talking about earlier that I do. Sometimes I turn on the camera, I'm like, what is about to come out of my mouth? And I start saying shit, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't actually have to. It doesn't actually have to make any fucking sense.
What's crazy is when I'm doing Pastor and I really get into it, like I can feel it in my body, like turning into this like person, and like it's almost hard to stop once I'm done.
Yeah. I find myself doing the voice for the rest of the day once I've done one of those videos, and that's the voice I was doing when I joined you and Joel when you were doing it that one night.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that you kicked me for being a troll though, but maybe it's because I was making it too obvious. So I came back on the backup. Like, let me try again.
No, I do that. I do that all the time. I kick people all the time and say they're being trolls, just because I don't. I don't know. It's just me being an asshole, I guess. I don't know. I've kicked Daniel
I love the
Green.
quick. This is a troll, but you should you should say this is a troll when there's somebody like when it's the most genuine person. Just interrupt them. This is a troll. I can't handle this anymore. They're gone.
One time, me and Skit. Do you know who Skits is?
I don't think so. I don't think I've
Skits
heard of
and
this
Bits. All right. Well, he was like the original person I saw doing it, making actual lives trolling, and he was Skits Loves God, and he came onto my show one day, and we were doing it. And this poor girl came up and, like, she was, like, trying to really get help from us, like, and we're saying crazy shit. And then all of a sudden we're just like, we gotta stop. Like, we just stopped. We broke character and just, like, was talking to her about, like, how she didn't need God for it and stuff. But it was, I
commend you for that.
Shit.
That's hard. That's hard
Yeah.
because you have to drop your. You have like they say the show must go on. The show can't go on when you're trying to be ethical. Sometimes you don't want to, spread much misinformation.
Yeah,
I thought about
it got way too intense for the show to go on. Like, I was uncomfortable, and Skits was finally like, dude, we can't keep doing this. And I was like, you are correct, because I didn't know what to do. Because I was just like, I've never had this happen before.
I'll have to check him out. Maybe meet him one day. I'm thinking about doing a separate account with like I want to drop the money on a Muppet style felt puppet and have an account in opposition of mine hosted by the puppet, and we'll just like shit all over each other, and I'll make him say some like really like smart sounding things to like maybe gain a Christian following. I think that would be hilarious.
That would be funny. I've had Christians like come up and like try to defend me when I have a bunch of atheists up, because I'll get like a panel of atheists that don't know what I'm doing, like when Joel and people aren't around, and like I'll be arguing with them saying this outlandish shit, and Christians will come up and like try to help me, and like I'm saying the craziest shit, and they're just like, yeah, like, and I'm just like, God, you guys.
It's that mentality. You're on their team, so it doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. They'll align their opinion to match yours because you're on the right team. Oh, it's CBT Poet. Oh, I thought it said ChatGPT bot for a second there. Maybe
Hi, guys.
I don't know.
Yeah, what's your age, and are you atheist?
I'm 21, and I think there is some sort of God.
Okay. So why do you think there's some sort of God?
So I think I have 3 questions that make me think that there has to be something other than myself and like other than us.
Okay. What's that?
The first one is, if the Big Bang created everything, was any of this our choice?
The Big Bang didn't create anything.
No, if the Big Bang created everything, was any
The
of
Big
this?
Bang did not create anything. That's not even what the Big Bang posits.
The
What
Big
would the
Bang
Big
is
Bang
just the Big Bang is just the universe expanding from that point. That's all it is.
Yeah, but if that's the process, was anything like from that process our choice?
That I would say no. None of that's our choice.
So you don't think you have free will?
No.
Well, I don't think that has anything to do with free will, but on an unrelated note, no, I don't think we do.
Okay. Well, if the system is designed for the propulsion of energy and the maintenance of genetics, why would the universe manifest a mind that doubts anything?
By happenstance, I think. It develops some minds. Some are
Why
more
would you
bright than
feel it?
others. Why would I feel it? Feel doubt?
Yeah, why would you feel it?
Hey, CBT, I just have a quick question. What are you reading so I can look it up and I can read along with you? So I think you're breaking up some, so if I could just read what you're reading, it would help the conversation flow a little better.
I'm not reading anything.
October 3rd, 2033, there are 2,579.
I read these questions in the Socratic seminar in my college.
They don't match any other year in the next decade. The days that were given
Okay.
Revelation and Daniel only match.
So why do you think? I assume you're holding the opposite stance when it comes to free will. Why do you assume we have free will?
Because I think your consciousness has like a fundamental like property, right? And using like consensus through other people's consciousness to perceive things that aren't just like manifested through reality, that are like also like manifested through the imagination, to come to like validation in your experience and truth-bearing perception.
I don't know what you're. I don't know. It sounds like word salad to me. I'm not even following you.
Well, basically, I don't know how to explain it to you then. It's like you have this consciousness and you have this imagination, and there's no energy like input into the universe to justify that. And
No, there is. Everything is made up from energy. Energy is what necessitates, or is the necessity for all of those things.
So what do you believe?
I believe that. What do you mean? I believe a lot of things.
No, like
Well, the prompt is that we don't believe in God. So that's kind of what this conversation is meant to be about. And from there, we determined that you do, and we're just trying to find out why. It sounds like you're having a hard time explaining exactly why. With the free will thing, I don't know why free will even means there is a God or there isn't. I think if there's a God, then it's even less likely we have free will.
because either you're projecting reality and you're just an equation that never happened reflecting on itself, and you're the only one who's conscious, or everyone else is conscious and something else is manifesting reality for them.
Or everyone's conscious and no individual is projecting reality, or reality is projecting itself onto all of our consciousness, but really all of the consciousness is just an illusion projected onto okay.
Drop this dumbass. How fat are you, Hank? Holy shit. I'm glad you brought me in, dude, because I'm looking at you. I'm like, dude, you got to take a break from the insulin dependency. It's terrible. Cricket, cricket, cricket.
I'm just letting you show your whole ass. That's all.
Yeah, there you go.
Are you a Christian? Is this your Christian love? Is this your ethics?
That's not important since you don't believe in God.
Yeah, but you're showing exactly who your Jesus was. Your Jesus said to kill children that are disobedient, and you obviously think violence and things like that are good by the way you're acting right now. So it is no surprise to me that you'd be a Christian. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not being violent. Just telling it how it is. I'm looking at facts. You're overweight.
I do not have diabetes, so you're not. You're just making an assumption.
You might want to get some blood work done, homie. You're fat.
Okay.
And your skin's super red. Are you an alcoholic?
Nope. I
This
work
sounds-
outside on roofs all the time. That's all
This
I
sounds
do.
a lot
is
like something Jesus would say. I feel like Jesus was going around and being like, make sure you call people fat and make fun of them for being a certain skin tone and assuming if they're an alcoholic because of the color of their skin. That
Those
sounds
are
like
facts.
something Jesus would say.
You guys don't believe that God exists?
Do you
and that Jesus
do you
is a real
do you
person,
think
so I
do you
don't
think
know.
that God is aware of what you're saying? Or
You don't
or
believe
do
that
you
God
think
exists, so why are you asking
No,
questions
we
like
don't,
that?
but you do you think God is supervising you right now?
Well, you're posting you're hosting a live that says God does not exist, and you're asking me
Yeah.
about
He does that.
God. So that's stupid.
No, because I'm talking about you, what you believe. Do you think that God is real, and do you think He's aware of what you're doing?
But your prompt says
That's irrelevant. I'm asking you. It's a yes or no. You're muted, by the way. I think you can unmute yourself.
I didn't mute him.
Hey,
I don't know who muted him.
maybe he spat on the button or something. I don't know. All right. Anyway.
Are you with us, Steve?
Hey, if you want, I'm also like balding. You could rip on me for that too if you want.
Steve, I hope you're
something's going on with my.
Yeah, I hope the members of your church see this and just see.
I don't go to church. That. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, your
Damn.
friends that are Christians see this and see how you act.
I don't see how that matters to you guys since you're saying that God doesn't exist. So what's the morality behind your thought process?
We're trying to present a point to you so that you can understand. That's what we're trying to do.
Your point is mute, is what it is. Your point is mute. You don't believe God exists, so there is no morality.
It's pronounced
in your
moot.
thought
That's
process.
not true. There is morality.
Okay, so how does that come about?
Through subjective experience.
Okay, and tell me what your subjective experience is right now with my being a guest on your live, and I'm calling you fat because it's a visual fact.
My subjective experience is that I think that I would not want that to happen to me, so I wouldn't do it to other people, which would make that immoral.
Is that good or bad?
That's bad.
Okay, how do you know
Immoral
it's
things
good
are
or
bad.
bad? Yeah, but how do you know it's good or bad?
Because I have a brain cell. A single fucking brain cell.
Okay, so how do you know if what your brain is telling you is right or wrong?
It takes an amount of trusting that my cognitive faculties are in order so that I could make that assessment.
And so how do you think those cognitive faculties came about in your life? Do you think you just go about the day and figure out that you're right or wrong, or do you think there's a conscience available?
Yeah, I have part of my brain does work as a conscience, but I can also, they can look at my brain and see the chemical reaction, so there's no God needed for a conscience to exist.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If you were driving down the road and you saw a dog in the middle of the street and you decided to hit the dog, is that a right or wrong act?
That's immoral.
It's immoral?
Yeah.
Okay, if you hit the dog because you decided it was a bad thing to do, where do you think that comes from? It's not a human, it's a dog.
Yeah.
What if you're gonna wreck or hit the dog? What's your decision?
Steven, so you're not understanding where we're coming from when we say morality. We don't think that morality is objective. I think you would have to be demonstrated to be objective in order to say that it is.
Well,
we would say that it's
said that
immoral
he
to.
was
Well,
talking
I'm still
about
talking though,
subjective
man. Like I'm still talking.
Yeah.
So just a second, all right? So it would be, we'd say that it would be immoral to smack a dog with your car because our empathy extends to dogs.
And you think and so you think empathy comes from your conscience?
Mm-hmm. It comes from our biology and our culture.
But you guys are the type of people that believe that nothing created everything, right?
Oh, you're one of those types of people that likes to pretend that atheists think that. We've gotten that all night, and it's never true.
No atheists
I don't
believe
think that. I'm asking a question. It's a question.
No atheists believe that something came from nothing.
Christians will say that atheists think that so they can strawman us, but no atheists actually think that.
I'm not looking to strawman. I'm just asking a simple question. Do you believe?
Well, good. Well, good. Then we can inform you then. So no, that's not the common atheist position. If you find an atheist that thinks that, they're just a dumbass, to be honest.
Well,
they're a small minority.
Yeah, well, I would tell you this: anybody that claims to be an atheist is not smart enough to be an atheist. Like, you don't know what you're denying.
No, I do know what I'm denying.
We're just not accepting.
Okay.
I don't accept a God that his book contradicts itself at every level, that has absolute abhorrent morals in it, and creates this monologue that is incoherent when you read it through as a whole.
Well, it's not a book to be read from the beginning to the end. That would be a moronic, thing.
Well, contradicting itself doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I read it backwards to front, from the middle to... It contradicts itself all over the place.
Well, it's not like one person wrote it. It was 66 books and over 40 people wrote it, so I don't know.
Yeah, but if it says untrue... So a contradiction is an untrue thing. So if it says untrue things, why would I believe anything in it?
Okay, so you're saying that what the Bible says is untrue? You don't believe that there's historical artifacts that back it up?
There are some historical facts in the Bible, but the majority of the Bible is contradictory.
No, listen, there's a lot of people that claim that there's tons of contradictions in the Bible, but there's also way more people that can prove you wrong, that are theologians.
Nobody can prove me wrong.
Well, you work on roofs.
I
You
haven't
don't know about the Bible as much as you might think you do.
Oh, yeah, I do.
He's an ex-pastor.
Hebrews 6:22 says that sin cannot be forgiven without the shedding of blood. Is that true?
If the Bible says it's true, it's true.
Yeah, in Leviticus 5, it says that you can be forgiven of your sins by offering up just a tenth of ephah of flour. Is there blood in flour?
That's in Leviticus. Do you know what the Leviticus book was written about, the Levites?
It doesn't matter. If there is forgiveness of sins without the shedding of blood, then Hebrews was wrong, that there is forgiveness of sin without the shedding of blood.
Do you understand what a timeline is?
Yes, I do understand what a
Do you understand
timeline is.
what do you
I
understand
also
what covenants
understand
are?
what words mean. Do you understand what words mean?
Sure, but that's a ridiculous question. Do you know what a covenant is?
Is there any forgiveness without the shedding of blood? Yes or no?
Is there any forgiveness without the shedding of blood?
Yep, that's what Hebrews says. There is no forgiveness without the shedding of blood. Is that true?
If it's in the Bible and it's in Hebrews, then it must be a true statement for the time that it was written about.
It
Right?
doesn't matter. It says
It does matter.
in
That's a
Hebrews.
fallacy.
Okay, we'll read Hebrews 6
I don't need to
because
read
it
scripture.
literally
Listen,
says in the law.
I've literally got you reading scripture on your own live when you don't believe
Yeah,
it.
because I'm an ex-pastor and I know the Bible better than you.
I doubt that.
Oh yes, I
If
do.
you knew the Bible, you would
Hebrews
understand.
9:22 says,
God is not in you, sir. The Holy Spirit is not.
"Yeah, I don't care about your magical decoder ring." All right, so it says, "In fact, the law requires that nearly everything be cleansed with blood, and in fact, without the shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness of sin." This is talking about the law. Then I go back and read the law, and it says there is forgiveness of sin without the shedding of blood. So who's right? Was the Levitical law right, or was Hebrews 9 right?
When was Hebrews written?
Hebrews, somewhere long after the fact, somewhere in the 2nd century.
But it was after Levitical, right?
Yep. So which one's right?
Okay, so this is bringing back to my point. You guys don't understand the different covenants that were being put in place at the time.
I don't care. I don't care. He's talking about the law, Steve. He's talking about the law in the Old Testament in Hebrews 9. This is why I know the Bible better than you. Because I know what Hebrews 9 is talking about, and you do not.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but your point is kind of moot as well. Because listen, the new gospel is a completely different covenant than the beginning covenant when Adam and Eve were in the garden. Completely different covenant than between Jacob and God, right? Completely different covenant between the Levitical law and the Hebrew law at the time. Like, you don't understand the difference in the covenants. Like, people
Well,
messed up.
I don't know why God's law would ever change.
I'm trying to make a point.
No,
here.
but
There's
Yeah, but your
different
point's
covenants.
moot.
God,
You-
yeah.
Stephen, your point.
The law would not change.
And now
It
you're
says that the law will never change in the Old Testament, and in the New Testament, God doubles down in Malachi 3:6, saying, "For I am the Lord, I change not."
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are said, but listen, what you're not understanding is the point of the timelines. You can say whatever you want. Contradiction, yeah, there may be some. Yeah, there may be none. We don't know. You're not made to understand it. Literally, in the Bible, it says that man cannot understand God's.
Then what's the
Where does
point
it
of
say
us
that?
having it?
Yeah, show me where it says that.
I can't get to a computer right now. However,
The wisdom of God is foolishness to man. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. So where in the Bible does it say
Read
people
that
cannot
scripture.
people cannot read words and know what it means? Where does the Bible say that?
No. You can't understand God's purpose, is what it's saying.
Oh, I don't care about God's purpose. What I care about is God saying true things.
Well, then that's why you are so lost. You have no Holy Spirit in you. You cannot get the.
I don't need your
understanding.
magical decoder ring to know what words mean.
Well, I mean, if I said the word that was two different definitions in the same word, how do you know what I'm talking about when I put it in a sentence? You have to decipher it, right?
Through context.
Yeah, but what if I say the word in a sentence that cannot be read through in context, and you can't?
Then I say you're a dumbass and you need to rephrase your sentence.
Well, maybe it's just the way that I'm reading it in a parable, right? You can't understand a parable unless you know what the actual.
Stephen, let me ask you this: if I were to say "Hail Satan" to you, you would think that I meant "Hail Satan," right? Because I said "Hail Satan."
It's nonsense what you're saying. Hail Satan.
Sure, okay, but fine. But like you wouldn't expect me to tell you that actually Joyful and I know, because we have the Holy Spirit of Doug the Rock God, that if I say "Hail Satan," it actually means I'm going to go into the kitchen to grab some pizza. Because we have the Holy Spirit of the Rock God, we know that that's what that means.
That's totally fine for you, and I'm glad for you. I just want you to be happy. If that makes you happy, dude, go ahead. Hail Satan. whatever you want to do, dude.
He just
At the end of the
well,
day,
I do love getting some pizza. So
no, but listen. At the end of the day, this is the way it'll hash out. Either you're right and I'm wrong, and nothing happens to me when I die, right? But if I'm right and you're wrong, what happens? You don't want to know what happens, do you?
Well, what if neither of us are right? What if the Muslims are right? I mean, Muslim hell is hot, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we can go around in circles about that whole thought process.
Yeah, exactly. It's circular to bring it up.
What I'm saying is you guys and the host, J.A., listen, you were a pastor at one time. Okay, so what about the church? I'm sure it was the church and religion that hurt you or caused you to go astray because you have lost the spirit or you never really had it. And
no, the Bible lies. That's why I took a year to study the Bible, and I realized it lied.
A year? Okay, great. Okay, so yeah,
after 10 years of preaching and doing my own study and things like that, I actually studied the Bible for what it actually says, and it lies over and over. God says that rock badgers chew cud. Scientifically, we know that's not a real thing. Why would the creator of a rock badger say something so stupid? There's so many problems with scripture that at some point, if you actually take the time to read it for what it says, you would be like, oh my God, this is nonsense.
Okay,
Hebrews also says that you can lose your salvation.
Well, that's not true, but listen, that's whatever you want to do. But listen, so let me ask you a question. Are you an American? You're both American. I'm going to assume that you're American citizens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And you guys are you're probably patriotic, right? I mean, you probably love America and you're happy here and you probably make a good living. You have nice family.
I actually want to leave the country, but that's besides the point.
Well, no, that's kind of getting to my point. So, like, if you don't understand the history that this country has created over the last couple hundred years, and you haven't fucking left yet, then you need to have another talk with somebody else. Because what has happened in this country, the genocide, the apartheid, all the stuff that's happened, if you're so angry, then get the fuck out. Bye. See ya. Otherwise,
I really would like to leave. I really would like to leave.
I don't know why you would change the subject like that.
This is one of the guys that cried when Biden was president. He cried so hard. And then, like, when other people are upset about the way the country is, it's a big deal. But when he's upset, it doesn't matter. He's just a patriot. Steve's a big MAGA patriot, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But what I'm telling you is the point
fucking
is
maggot.
If you want to be, like, so angry about everything.
Okay. Let's see. Let's get in one more conversation before we end this to Q&A. Let me see here. I don't know how long these TikTok people have been here. James, you've been here a while. I've already talked to Amir, and I'll bring Amir up when we go to Q&A here shortly, because he was pleasant to talk to. See if he has any quick questions for us. James. Actually, guys over in the queue besides Amir on the Video Ninja, we are not going to take any more Video Ninja for tonight. Come back next time because we only have a few more minutes, so I'm going to take a TikTok guest because it's just easier to talk to the TikTok guests. And come back next time. But we will be bringing people up for a Q&A here shortly.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I really like your energy.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that, man. Probably because I'm an atheist.
Comes easy.
So you're friendly?
Yes, I am.
Right on.
I did want to challenge you on one thing, though, being an atheist. Okay. Your statement that God does not exist, even though I loosely subscribe to that because I don't believe in him. Mm-hmm. I think that kind of language doesn't do us a whole lot of good because you can't disprove that God exists.
All right, so is it wrong for me to go around and say Santa does not exist?
Well, that's a good point.
That's kind of, yeah. I mean, I think that we agree with you.
Yeah.
We just, it's easy to say it because we can justifiably say that anything that's ridiculous just doesn't exist. Like Russell's teapot. You can't actually say that Russell's teapot orbiting the sun doesn't exist. You'd have to search every single little section of space orbiting the sun or around the sun in order to verify that it's not there. But we can comfortably say that there is no Russell's teapot, right? Like, there's no leprechauns.
I'm in agreement.
No
I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah, so in the same vein.
I try not. I just try not to say, like, when I'm talking with people about this subject, I try not to say that God doesn't exist because you can't prove a negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I try to do the same thing, but I think it's not that bad, you know. It's all right, especially once we start talking to people. They can know that we can't verify that God actually doesn't exist, and if they usually whenever I say that God doesn't exist, and then I clarify that, well, I can't prove it. Once they throw their hands up and start getting hysterical and saying that they won. I mean, that they're not intellectually prepared to handle an honest conversation anyway. You know?
Yeah, I hear you.
They don't care what I think. They care about one thing I said at the beginning, and that's all that they care about.
Yep. So we're on the same page then. So
I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah. I just came across your channel, and the way that you handle that guy was like freaking like on point. Like, he was calling you fat and stuff, and you're like, that's your opinion. I don't really care. I know I'm not fat, so like, sure. Why don't you show me some more Christian love? You know.
That was number 3 tonight, so it happens every life. But Blue Acorn, I do appreciate you.
Yeah.
I would like to maybe get to know you a little more, and maybe get you up here as a co-host at some point. Just let me know if you'd be interested in something like that, and
I'll drop you a follow, man.
Have a good night, man.
Yeah. Follow.
You too.
Yeah, follow all the accounts and everything. Yeah. I like him. He was really cool. And it's good point.
He did an interview. You said. What about an interview he did or something? You said earlier.
I don't think I said anything about an interview.
Oh, I guess I was confused.
Hey, strangers.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, Samuel, did I talk to you last night, Samuel?
Yeah, it was last night.
Nice, man. Yeah.
Just for TikTok, I know that apparently you're over 18, but will you just confirm that you are over 18?
Yes, I'm over 18.
Right
Did you hear me?
Right on.
Okay, perfect.
What do you got?
Oh man, God! I just requested to jump in because that guy was drowning. The last Christian you had on.
Yep.
I think in some ways he was probably trying to reference because he kept saying covenant, and I think that it's probably coming from a point of uneducation. So I was on Lobes last night, and with that, I studied like Near Eastern religion, especially during the Second Temple period. So with that, but I am myself a deacon in Presbyterian PCUSA. I think that he was trying to appeal to probably what is covenant theology, but he was doing it very poorly as a way to read scripture instead of what I don't know. Can I ask what denomination you like pastored over?
Reformed Baptist.
Reformed Baptist. So more than likely, were y'all dispensationalist? Yep. So within covenant theology, the idea is that God is continuing to reveal themselves over time. So this is a constant dialogue, and this is something that we see even within Jewish culture, is that although the law is the most important part, they still understand that Judaism is a changing and growing religion because they continue to have a relationship. Now saying that, I do like how you say your magic decoder ring, because the reality is that what he probably calls the Holy Spirit, I would acknowledge as dogmas from our denominations, because realistically that is what the Holy Spirit is so often, is just dogmatic thought.
Me and you would agree very much. Same.
Yeah. And so, saying that, I think that within covenant theology, which I'm assuming that he's coming from a conservative covenant theology camp, given the political outbursts at the end. Covenant theology does have this idea that as we come to know God, we can look at the parts that we can just say, oh, obviously that was wrong. And we can just kind of throw it away. And that's how a lot of Christianity has worked until the Schofield Bible in 1909. And then that really, kind of changed how especially Protestant Christianity operated.
Yeah. Well, Samuel, thank you for coming up. I don't think we don't really have time to debate, and I don't even feel like you had anything really to debate. You just wanted to share that. And I agree with you. I agree with you on all of that. That is all things I have learned in the past, and I appreciate you. You have a great night.
Have a great one, man.
All right, guys, it's the last half hour. We've had some good conversations. We've had some bad conversations. But now is Q&A. You can come up, ask me and Lobes whatever you want. If you are atheist or Christian, this is not going to be debate time. We will answer your question, and we will field it as best as we can, and we will move on to the next person in the Q&A. We have a mayor first. He has been patiently waiting. So we will bring him in and have a quick dialogue with him, and then if anybody else is wanting to get in on this, jump into one of the boxes. Amir, nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I just wanted to sincerely apologise in the first instance because I kept referring to Lobes as Cobes. So I do apologise about
It's all right. I didn't notice.
That's all good. Well, you've actually clarified that this is not a time now for any debate. So maybe I'll just summarise and just say, thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to discuss some of these important issues. When I'm sat in the room and I'm waiting, I'm unable to actually hear the dialogue unfolding with other debaters. But from what I've heard, a lot, and I'm issuing an apology here on behalf of other people. Some of the people, the way that they've conducted themselves has been very disrespectful. And I think the way that you two have handled yourselves has been nothing short of professional and courteous and respectful. And I really appreciate that about you both.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that too coming from you, but you can see why there's the common phrase, there's no hate like Christian love. It's something that we atheists say quite a lot because of all the people that show up who are just that hateful. But yeah, man, you were really great. I wish I could have finished the dialogue with you, but I was listening to it while I was putting my son down. I didn't take my earbud out. And I would love to have more conversations with you, so follow me and I'll follow you back and we can have some more combos. You should follow Joyful as well and tune into the next one. He does these on here every Monday and Thursday.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've followed your channel, so I look forward to the next conversation.
I appreciated you very much, man. I appreciate you. You were great through and through.
Oh, thank you guys so much, and I look forward to the next conversation.
All right. You have a good night.
You too, guys. Take care.
Amir's a wonderful person. I'm glad that he came through on the YouTube, and we will see him in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, he was great, and he's a believer too, which is like refreshing. Usually, the friendlies that we get are other atheists, so it's really nice when somebody is opposing us and can disagree with us and hash out these grievances that we both have, and us still like each other by the end of it. Isn't that amazing? It can be done, guys. Come on. It can be done.
And that is proof.
It can be done. How would Jesus conduct it, right? Come on.
Alisor, what is your age, and what do you got for us today?
40-ish, and I'm an atheist. And my question for the Q&A is, where do y'all stand on the mythicism? Particularly you, Joyful, having been a pastor. I'm a former Christian, was raised in it, and was just wondering, what you thought about it, there, it has some compelling points.
Well, okay, so as far as I'm concerned in my debate forum, I'm never going to take the stance of a mythicist because I feel like that's like a conversation blocker between us and Christians. Unless I am well studied like Jaron or somebody like that can have these like very nuanced conversations. For somebody like me who have heard Jaron's side, has heard the side of a lot of people that are mythicists, I would lean towards this is what I will say. My position is, even if there was a man named Jesus that was some sort of radical guy, he didn't do the things the Bible says he did. So for all intents and purposes, that Jesus does not exist. Could there be a guy that all this myth is based off of? Sure. That's kind of my stance. But I do see where like Jaron and them are coming from. I mean, they have a lot of compelling things.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lobes?
Yeah, personally, I don't argue for that because I don't know nearly enough to say one way or the other. But because I can't say one way or the other that he was a real man, that is a far cry from me professing faith as a Christian, right? That's that my whole point of contention is, can I verify all of this magical shit that's happening, whether this person is real or not? That's like that's another hurdle I have to cross. Like I usually grant them because that's not my point of contention usually. I'm not sure if Jesus existed. I think he might have. Jaron, like he was saying, Jaron has made me really question it, if he exists or not. And I'm very open to whether, I don't care if he did or if he didn't, because it's irrelevant. I don't believe in magic, so when magic is stated in the Bible, like he rose from the dead, self-necromancy, you can't even do that in Skyrim. You have to be alive to perform the magic of necromancy, which I don't believe in any of that. So if he didn't exist in the first place, it doesn't matter to me if he did or didn't. That's kind of my stance. And if I listen to some more Jaron, Christ Before Jesus, then maybe I could take that stance. But I see what Joyful's coming from, where it's a conversation blocker. You don't get past the first, did he even exist, aspect when you have that stance. And it's almost probably as annoying to the Christians as the Phil Bros are to us who run tag, who want us to pedantically just justify every little syllable of our tongue, right? That's kind of how it feels to me sometimes.
Nice. Well, thanks, y'all. I appreciate it. That's all I have.
Yeah. Have a good night. Thanks for coming up. How do... I don't know. What is your age and what do you got for us?
How do I get fame? That's what it is.
So guys, how you guys doing? I'm 23.
Hey.
Hello?
Right on. We're doing a Q&A right now. We are done with the debates. Are you here to debate?
Oh, you're just doing Q&As?
Yeah, we're doing the last half hour of Q&A. Do you have anything for us?
Yeah, let's see. What can I... Do you have any questions for me as a Christian?
Not tonight. Come back. I'll be live, or we'll be back on JA Debates Monday. You'll have Benny and Volsey, and you can ask them whatever questions you got, and they can ask you whatever questions they got. But thanks for being here. Let's see here. If anybody else on TikTok wants to jump up in the queue, jump up in there now if you have a question for us.
And real quick, we got to 100,000 likes, which is awesome. I'm very happy that we hit that milestone tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for getting us there. That is amazing. Evan, what's your age and what do you got for us?
Yes, my age is 44. I'm an atheist. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I just wanted to say, I really don't have a question for you. Actually, I don't have a question for you at all. I've just been learning a lot from you guys. I really appreciate all of that through my journey. I just want to say that a big reason that I became an atheist was like that previous caller that you had, who just sent out, calling names and everything, claims to be a Christian. I was a Christian for most of my life, and we were always taught to act in a way to let other people know that, hey, you're a Christian. This is the true way Christians act. Let your light so
Exhibit
shine.
the fruits of the Spirit.
Your good works and all of that stuff. And increasingly, I'm seeing people just claim to be Christians. What I'm saying is they really don't believe it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They preach one thing and do another thing, tell everyone else that they're going to hell. But in their own view, they're going to hell themselves. It really doesn't make any sense. And that's when I really started to question the actual faith. And I started to look into things a lot more. So anyone on here who is a Christian, just keep that in mind, okay? Part of what you're taught is to, hey, this is how you're supposed to act. I'm seeing atheists. I thought that atheists were always Satan worshipers. That's what I was taught.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm an atheist, I know that atheists don't even believe in Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even Satanists don't usually believe in Satan.
What was that?
I said even Satanists mostly don't believe in Satan.
Right, right. So this is a really tough thing to get through with my family. I had a pretty long conversation with my father today. He is actually the chairman of the deacon board at the church that he grew up in, the church that I grew up in. And I just had a conversation to let him know where I stand. I told him I really don't want him to change. He's older, in his 70s, has this life view. And that's not really something I'm willing to do. But I'm grateful that he has said, okay, you have a different view, but I still love you as my son, both of my parents. And that's not the case, I know, for a lot of atheists. I can't say for most atheists, new atheists, but that's something I'm really grateful for. I'm not going to keep you guys. I'll let you get to the next caller, but I just want to let you guys know that I really enjoy you guys. You guys help me day by day. I'm still new to this, but you have really grounded my, well, I can't say it's a belief, my lack of belief in a God. I couldn't feel freer than I am now. So,
well, one thing I want to say before you go is I feel you there. My dad, I play pool with him every Tuesday, and I don't try to change his religious view of Jesus and Bible. There's no point in having these conversations with him. He's very set. But I have noticed, setting forth some of these ideas with, LGBTQ and other things have kind of changed his, not opinion, as far as, Christianity, but it has made him, more accepting of those things. And I think that's a big thing we can do is kind of just, be an example in people that we know, doing the hard fight probably isn't going to pay off. But sometimes just the little things can really make a big difference, is what I'm trying to say.
I gotcha. And we have gone through the hard fight and didn't speak for a while. And I'm like, this is not what I want. So I said, hey, we're going to talk about this man to man. I see where you stand, where I stand. We made our choices, and that's kind of where we left it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Evan. Thanks for being here. You are awesome, and I hope to see you around more.
Hey, thanks, Joyful. Y'all take care.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, dude, if you like the content, make sure you follow both Joyful and myself. We both go live pretty often, and we'd love to have you back. I accept atheists on my panel sometimes. Usually, probably more so than you do, Joyful. So, yeah, if you want to maintain the community, just stick around, follow us both, and keep up with what's going on, and we'll interact some more.
Yeah, and as people are floating through here, if you have a TikTok, even if you're on YouTube, make sure to come over here and follow Lobes, the Absurdist. Amazing guy. You've seen it tonight. It is awesome that I got him to come on the show because I knew he would just be great for these conversations. He is more mild-tempered than me, and I find that I work well with people that are more mild because sometimes just always...
I'm the cream in your coffee, man. You know, you gotta mellow it out a little bit.
But anyway, Ferguson, what is your age and what do you got for me and Lobes here tonight?
Hey, howdy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. I'm 31. I'm a Christian. I'm kind of late to the live stream, but I'll be back on, listening to you guys talk because I love open discourse about this stuff.
Sure. You can ask us a question too. We're not debating, but you can ask us like a question and we'll go ahead and answer.
So and since I'm new, just kind of what is your belief, right? I know that you're an atheist now, I believe you said.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get a baseline since I'm new to the channel, right? Get to know you a little bit more.
Okay, so I'm an ex-pastor. I was a pastor for 10 years in Reformed Baptist churches, and I helped plant 3 different Reformed Baptist churches. And through my own personal study, I just decided that it did not make sense. I felt like there were multiple contradictions and things that were absolutely not cohesive. So to try to narrow down any direct theology, it was just nonsense to me at some point. So I moved away from that. Lobes, what do you want to...
Yeah, so, I was also Baptist. I was Southern Baptist, and I didn't know that there were... I heard of Reformed Baptist, but I thought that it was all basically the same thing. Can you hear me?
It's a little hard to hear.
Yeah, let me mute you for a second because you got a lot of background noise. I think that's part of the problem. All right, go ahead, Lobes.
Testing. Can guest hear me? Can y'all hear me? Tap a 1 if you can hear me okay in the comments.
Put a 1. 1 in the comments.
Or tap a 2 if I sound bad. Okay, all right, cool. Right, okay. So yeah, I was raised in a Baptist church, a little bit of Presbyterian. I was growing up. It was kind of intermingling between different Protestants. I thought that Catholics were they were real Christians, and I didn't know really hardly anything about them until I became an atheist or until I left Christianity. But I was Southern Baptist, and I went on mission trips and was on the leadership team in my youth group, and I would play music during worship and all that good stuff. I was very devout. I wanted to devote my entire life to living in the 1040 window, which Joyful might know what that is. But for anybody who doesn't, it's an area in the Middle East. It's named the 1040 window because of its coordinates. It has the largest amount of unreached people groups in it, which is where less than 2% of the population are Christians, and they consider people groups like that to be unreached. And so because of the Great Commission in Matthew 28, I wanted to live the rest of my life fulfilling my cosmic purpose, which was to make disciples among all nations and fulfill the Great Commission. That was the reason I was here, and I saw everybody who wasn't making an active attempt to either do that themselves or support those who were doing that as a heretic. That's how devout I was. Now I am, it's in my name, I'm an absurdist. My whole issue wasn't with contradictions and stuff. I was devout enough to a fault where I would even accept the illogical to make it make sense. If you told me that God was yes and no at the same time, I'd be like, if it says so in the Bible, yep, that's the case. And I don't have to understand it because he's bigger than me, he's better, and I don't have to understand. And I turned my brain off and I just was indoctrinated. So my issue was trying to verify it. Eventually, I came to this point where I had this. I used the cosmological argument for my theism, which I thought was pretty robust, and I didn't know it was called that at the time. This is something I thought through myself. But when it came to Christianity specifically, it came down to faith. And that, as an explanation for my Christianity, right after I give this explanation, which sounds robust and philosophical for theism in general, it was sad, and I was embarrassed to say that it's just because of faith. And that made me cringe when I said it out loud. Right? So I couldn't verify it. I knew that there was supposedly historical evidence and stuff. I could never quote any of it. Whenever I would look it up, it was debated at best. There was never any concrete, solid, yes, this is definitely something that happened in history. So I had to say, I don't know that this is actually true. I can't prove it. So how can I prove to even myself? And I had to admit that I'm not a Christian anymore. And after a couple of years of being an agnostic theist, I eventually accepted from people telling me repeatedly that you're an atheist, Lobes. You're not convinced that God exists, so you're an atheist. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. And I wouldn't say it for a long time. I would answer, yes, technically I'm an atheist, but no, I'm not just technically an atheist. I am one. And I finally, because it was a dirty word for a long time. But yeah, now I'm an atheist, absurdist, and I think life's absurd. And I'm just doing my best.
Give me 1 second to do this. Ferguson, did you have any other questions for us?
No, that's pretty good. I just wanted to say that I appreciate you guys doing this. I know there's a lot of hateful Christians that don't quite understand what it is that they believe. And, I'm sure you've gotten apologies from other Christians for that. But if not, you got it from me. And yeah, I'll subscribe to both you guys. Are you both on YouTube? I see the JA debates and it's also on Deconstruction Junction. Is that both your guys' channels or?
No, Deconstruction Junction is more of a atheist community channel. We have a Discord and everything. So that would be that. Lobes, is it Lobes the Absurdist on YouTube? Again?
Yeah, it's the same. It's Lobes the Absurdist. If you search Lobes the Absurdist, you'll find my account. There's one video up so far, and it's been that way for almost a year. But I do intend to at some point get around to posting more frequently on there. Maybe streaming dual when I go live. So hopefully it'll eventually get up and running. But you can follow me on both TikTok and YouTube.
I'm sure you have a TikTok.
I post every day on TikTok, so that's where you'll see me most. You don't have it, but yeah, for you, I'm going to start doing more YouTube.
I appreciate that. I'll keep an eye out.
Well, I appreciate you. Come back when we're having discussion sometime and we can have a discussion. Thanks for being there.
Sweet. Yeah, you said Monday is next one, right?
Yep, Monday will be hosted by Volsey and Benny. I will not be here. I'm here for most of them, and then I have a co-host. But Monday, I will not be here. I will have somebody else hosting it, but it will be the same channel.
All right. Yeah, I'll tune in.
Yep.
Sweet. Have a great night, guys.
Have a great night. All right, guys. Well, that is concluding our Q&A. Guys, I want to poll right now. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to see some pastor tonight. Both YouTube and TikTok. If you want to see some pastor tonight, I'm feeling a little pastor tonight. Here for a little bit after the live ends. If you want that, put a 1 in the chat. If not, if I don't get at least a few 1s, I'm just going to go to bed. But if you guys want some pastor, I will give you some pastor. I appreciate all of you guys for being here. The YouTube, awesome. Thanks for being here. We had several people come in from Joel sending them. Thank you for that, Joel, if you are in here. So many familiar faces. F. Dot. Thank you for being here. JT's been here. Hannah is always here. Hannah, if I can, I'm going to make you a mod probably if you're fine with that, because you are always here and seem amazing. Love all you. Daniel Green was in here tonight. If Daniel's still in here, love you, Daniel. Lobes, thank you so much, and you are going to have to be, I know that you have to take off work and stuff to make it, but we'll have to work out another one maybe in November, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe if this is going to be something that I'm welcome back to on a regular basis, then maybe I can see about getting my off days changed, and then I won't have to request. So I could maybe switch from Wednesday, Saturday to Thursday, Saturday, and I can be one of your regular Thursdays. If that's something that's offered, then I can maybe see if I can make that work with my wife and my work, and we'll go from there.
It would have to be like a once a month thing for now, because of how many people are requesting.
Yeah, dude, I wouldn't want it to be more than once a month, I don't think, because that would be a lot of me, and I love the idea of having diversity.
Yeah.
And not even necessarily like a racial or a sex thing, but I just mean people, like different people being up here is really cool. I love the concept, and that's one of the things I like about the format that you're emulating with AXP and the line. I love the variation of co-hosts. You can go like, this I want to see this host with this host, and then finally one shows up, and you're like, I have to watch that one. Where like so and so is with so and so, I've got to see them teaming up.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I love that. I think it's like the super friends, all of the atheists coming together that are like in the community or are participating. And it really does help build community, and you get so many different takes, and you got some people who are experts in one field and some people who are experts in no fields, but they're really good at talking and explaining how things work, right? How ideas are unpacked. So
one problem I normally have is getting the words out to explain my position in a lot of things. Like if you notice, I have to like stare off and like slowly speak to get it out right, because it's hard for me to like think of the words to get it across, and I've noticed that, and that's why I take my time to do it. But there are a lot of people that can just like rattle, and I think that's awesome. But yeah, definitely once a month, Lobe, get with me, and we'll make you a reoccurring once a month. And on Thursday, if that's the day that works for you, and we'll make you reoccurring for sure. You are amazing, my friend. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna drop you down, say my closing, and then I am his pastor may show up on live here for a little bit.
Cool.
See you guys. Or see you, Lobes. Guys, thank you for being here. You guys have been amazing as always. Over 100,000 likes. Over there on the YouTube, we had, let's see here, we had 37 people like the live, which over there is just that thumbs up. We had several people say they wanted I Am His Pastor even over there. So we will stream it over to the YouTube as well. So we'll probably just leave it going, and I'll just switch platform. So you'll have to bear with me for a minute. We averaged... let's see, 19 concurrent guests, which is better than last time. And over here on YouTube or TikTok, we did much better numbers-wise overall. I appreciate all of you. It takes all of us to do it. If you are a Christian and you're tuning in now and you want to join the conversation, we will be back live Monday. Every Monday and Thursday, this channel will be live whether I'm here or not. So just make sure you're tuning into JA Debates. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe over on YouTube. And over on YouTube, also Deconstruction Junction. Make sure if you're there that you subscribe to that. But also come over to my page, JA Debates, and subscribe to me over there. Lastly, make sure Lobes is getting all the follows, guys. He is amazing. He does his own lives, and he will be reoccurring here on JA Debates. Love y'all, and I will, I'm going to bed, but I Am His Pastor, I have heard, will be up and live here shortly. Have a great night.